What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 301. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? I'm back. Not at the movies.
Damn right. Lived at the
You know, Carlos Romero.
Yo, I'm back too.
Brett Murdoch. What's going on, party people?
Hey, what up, people?
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
Hey, there
I'm
he
back
is.
as well.
Awesome. Adam Vale.
What's up? You ready? Are you ready? This is it. Bring up the signs. Bring up the signs.
That's it. It's all about Xbox, baby. Let's go.
That's it, though. That's gonna be the gang sign. They talk about them Xbox fans being toxic. You're gonna see them throwing them gang signs up in front of Best Buy and shit like. Like,
Oh man. And of course, we got Mr. Brian Manjoma in the house.
What up, guys? I never left, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Brian's been here, man. You know.
He's always been here.
Oh man, it's crazy. Again, I gotta get into the habit of doing this shit. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitch and Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and join our Discord. Follow us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show, and visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. You can find links to all that shit in the description below. But let's get with the show, and we're gonna start off the show by giving some shout outs. First of all, again, gotta give a huge shout out to Paris for joining us for episode 300. It's crazy, we're already on 301. I'm like, damn, that went fast. You know, but yeah, Paris, I mean, I call that a classic episode of Throwdown. That was really good. Some good debates, some throwdowns went down. And of course, for episode 300 of Throwdown questions, we had Riku Sun 1 and Mr. Andre Tipton, aka Otaku Man 5000. You know, so we celebrated both of those 300 episodes in style with some of our friends. So good stuff, you know.
And huge extra shout out for Otaku Man Riku, because that was a 4-hour plus show.
Yeah, man.
No, that went even another hour or so after. There was like the after show was even long.
Yeah, we were there for like another 2 hours just talking. It's like, yo.
It was long.
Like Andre, he has stories, man. You know, my man has stories. And they got into some deep shit. We can't talk about it on air, but he got some deep shit, you know. Brett, I think you learned some lessons, you know, like.
No, I did.
Yeah.
I did. It's always look.
It was really good. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into anything, but like, it's always good to have open dialogue, honest dialogue with people, and see things from other people's point of views. Even if you think you've been in those shoes 1,000 times, it's always better to do it one more time. And you know, every once in a while, you got lucky and like me and learned some cool stuff.
Yeah, and that's the key, though. You know, it was a really good open conversation. There was no judgment or any of that bullshit, you know.
Of course, there's the people that believe Michael Jackson is still alive, and those that don't, and we all agree he is fucking alive, and he's in Vegas.
Adam, we've talked about this.
This is the whole reason.
Into hiding.
Of course,
He's a Tupac.
You know. All right, and then also another thing, we actually launched 2 contests. We're gonna talk about the big one in a little bit, but first, we got to talk about the contest that we had specifically for episode 300s. You know, and it was a tough one. I was like, I knew I'm gonna stump you guys. To my surprise, one guy answered within 40 minutes. You know, but he's the only one that got it right. He's the only guy that got it right. You know, and ironically enough, he's also the guy that asked me the question on Twitter like 2 months ago. Okay,
you see, but that's why he went digging.
And I'm going to go through the whole process because my man, he had to dig deep. This is one of the things where you can just pick the song out of nowhere, you know? Okay, so going back a little bit, maybe 2 months ago, right, Piggy Dan asked me, like, hey, where's that song that you guys use in your standby from? You know, the standby that we have on Twitch. I was like, no, I can't tell you for reasons. I already had it planned, you know? So I asked you guys the question, like, what is the song that we play? And I said the only clue you get is in the background. So most of the answers that we got all said Street Fighter Alpha for obvious reasons. That's the background from Street Fighter Alpha, right?
Exactly.
But the clue was it's Street Fighter related. You know, it's.
Wait, so did you just announce the winner, or?
Yeah, we did. Piggy Dan. You know, but I want to go through his process because he had to work for this shit. You know, so so he sent me the email, and I'm going to read his email. Hey Tony, Piggy Dan 20 here with a submission below. After much digging, I finally found the theme for the giveaway entry and also the background to the Throwdown loading screen as a bonus. Okay, very cool. It was very difficult to research it all, but I immediately thought of Street Fighter with the background due to some prior experiences with the series, and I went from there. All right, good start. So he goes, the music theme song is called Fighting Street by Yuji Toriyama from the soundtrack of Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. That's right. But here's the thing.
Yep.
Here's the thing. From the Japanese version, it is not in the American version, you know?
Yep.
Yep. And he goes, this,
Damn, that is a deep cut.
that is deep.
And to make also the song in the movie doesn't fully play in the film. It only plays a couple of seconds of it when the title of the movie shows up. It plays a little bit of that, and that's it. It never shows up in the film ever again.
Actually, Actually, here's the thing. The main part of the song, right? You know, it shows up throughout the entire movie in different arrangements, different instruments.
Yes,
so it's
exactly.
all throughout the movie. And here's the funny thing. If you listen to the intro on Twitch right now, just the first minute or so, that's not in the movie. That's actually not in the movie at all. You have, like, if you guys watched, because I did a contest video, which I actually need to take down now. I played you a clip of it. I played that exact thing, you know, so I was like, I'm gonna, so Piggy Dan, so he goes, again, he my man researched this shit. He goes, it's the first track of the first soundtrack CD release. That's right. So he linked me to the soundtrack intro in the song. He goes, as a fun bonus, the background screen is from Street Fighter Alpha from Charlie Stage. That is correct, sir. I didn't even ask him for that. I didn't even ask him for that.
I mean, I feel like that one's an easy one. It
is an easy one.
This question is so ingrained in the past of me and Tony.
Yes,
we were big fighting game fans in the day. We loved that movie, the Street Fighter animated movie, especially the Japanese one.
Yo, Manny, we got to tell them the story of how we. Okay, so me and Manny and our boy Mike found out. Carlos, you know Mike. We found out about it through, I think it was EGM, one of those magazines, and in the back of the magazine, like, oh, the Street Fighter animated movie's coming out. So for months, we're like, oh, we got to see this shit somehow. So we eventually got our hands on a bootleg tape version that we got it from Main Street, you know, and we watched it. Yeah, Manny, like you said, this is one of our movies. We went nuts. That's the movie that really put me onto anime. And then Manny opened my eyes like, yo, Tony, you've been watching anime your whole life. You just haven't realized it. Voltron's anime, Toei did the animation for G.I. Joe and Transformers, all that. I'm like, oh shit, you know. So that movie is still my favorite anime of all time because that's what set everything off. It set it all off, you know. And it's still fantastic. I watch it at least once a year. It still holds up. Fucking amazing, you know.
That was the one that came bundled with Street Fighter 4 when they had their collector's edition.
Did it?
They've bundled the Street Fighter animated movie.
The problem is they keep releasing that shitty American. And here's the thing: I remember
this one.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a manga video.
I remember we were waiting for the dub for it, right? Because this was the era of you guys don't know this, but you new school anime guys, you don't know about Streamline Pictures, right? Those guys were the original Funimation of back in the day, right? Where they had awesome voice acting, but they preserved everything. They kept the music, they kept all that shit, right? So we were like, yo, these guys are probably gonna get the movie. It's gonna be fantastic. No, they gave it the fucking Viz and they screwed everything up. The voice acting was
wasn't Viz. It was
manga. It was manga video. They fucked everything up. The voice acting was terrible. They changed all the music. Completely threw Alice in Chains and Korn in there. You know, it's like, I was like, what the fuck you doing? You know. By the way, quick aside, the Street Fighter movie was the first movie I ever saw where during the big climactic battle. Because remember, I'm used to just seeing like American shit, right? So what happens during a big climactic any battle in American cinema, right? Big bombastic, crazy ass music, right? Like blood pumping. So in this movie, this is the first time where they're having a big epic battle and the music is mad chill and quiet and foreboding. I'm like, whoa, this is nuts, you know. But of course the fucking American version of the movie had that generic fucking American music, you know, that shit, you know.
It goes like the way they play it in the original one is like it's a dire situation. Ryu and Ken don't have a chance of beating M. Bison. And of course, Ken is all screwed up. Yeah. So it's like they're playing off the side of like, okay, I don't want to beat up my friend.
Yeah,
well, that's the 1994 version.
Yeah, 1994. Yeah.
That's the only one.
Yeah, that was the only one. Yeah,
there's one called Street Fighter Assassin's Fist 2014 live action.
No, that's the thing that was like a sort of fan made thing that got
a fan made one.
Okay. But it's really well done. That thing's nice.
But yeah, so if you guys don't know, usually when it comes to like anime, I prefer the dub because I want to watch it. This is the only anime I will not watch that shitty ass dub. Got to be the original, Got to be the original.
Brian, what anime have you watching?
Yeah, But quickly, I want to go through what he says here because again, my man had to do some work.
Before that, I just want to give a quick shout out to John R. Christ who just subscribed.
All right,
Yeah.
Piggy Dan, what's going on, brother? He's in the chat right now.
Good stuff.
He goes, this was a fun search challenge. I already really love Street Fighter soundtracks. I knew the track had an 80s, 90s rock vibe from the way the melody went and everything. Glad I know what the actual track is now. It's funny how an innocent question I had for Twitter turned out to be one of the questions you had to prepare for the giveaway. That's awesome. Hope you're doing okay out there. And I want to say congratulations on 300 episodes to the whole Throwdown crew. I love you guys and your work, and I love supporting podcasts like yours. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate that. That's fucking amazing. So yeah, Peggy Dan, hit me up. We were following each other. I'll get you a game. Any game you want. I'll get you any game you want, brother. And you know what? Not only that, I'll also buy you a $20 PSN card or Xbox, whatever you want. Just because of the work you put in for this shit.
He did put in extra credit.
Yeah, Brett not only did put extra credit, but he showed his work. He showed his work.
True that. Yeah, just out of curiosity, to throw a little wrench to the works. What would you guys recommend to do with that PSN card?
Whatever the fuck he wants.
Particularly fine. I'm gonna tell you. If you, I'll throw it. If you haven't played Ghost yet, buy that shit.
Well, he may ask for that card.
He may, Well, I'm going to give him a game and a card, so that's an $80 value,
Well, yeah, I mean, you give the card the game by card, don't you?
Well, you know what? In this case, I probably will. So I'll probably have to buy him a $60 card and a $20 card, unless he wants a physical game. Then I got.
Or let's say if he decides he wants to get what you call it?
It could be Xbox,
the Legion. That Legion game. What's his name? I'm blanking on the first part. The Ubisoft.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Because they announced they're gonna have a season pass. Yeah. They're sticking with the season pass format.
But yeah, Peggy Dan, I'll hit you up. Actually, you hit me up whenever. Let me know what game you want. It could be a game that's out now. It could be a game that's upcoming. Whatever. I got you that and extra $20 credit for whatever. I think you're a PlayStation guy, so I'll give you that because again, you show. Not only did you do hard work, you showed your work. That's pretty fucking awesome. By the way, CK, there was no drawing because there was only one guy that got the question right. Oh man. But we do have another contest, people. We do have another one. Yeah, this one is our biggest giveaway in Throwdown history. We're giving away a free next gen console, people. We ain't playing. Now, obviously, this is all dependent on whenever Sony fucking announces their shit, But the instant they do that, the video is ready, the tweet is ready. As soon as that happens, we're launching a contest, and we're gonna run it, Carlos, probably to the end of October, right? Like we're gonna let this shit run for a while, So, and obviously, if you want to enter that, there's going to be a question. You guys will check it out and make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter. The video is going to give you all that information. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. We're giving away a console, man.
We're just not going to give away that gold PS5.
No, we ain't doing that. But it could be. Listen, maybe they want a Xbox Series S. The cheap one.
Or a V.
Yeah. We will talk about that.
By the way, real quick, big shout out to Agent Redshirt who subscribed,
right?
And also a huge shout out to Casa de Fonzie for subscribing. Appreciate that, guys.
John R. Christ, he goes, I heard Tony was signing it. You want me to deface your console, bro?
Yeah, he wants you to devalue their console.
Yeah, all right. Because those consoles are probably going to be very rare. So I don't know if you want me defacing your shit.
Sometimes when I'm signing comics, I kind of joke with the people. So you want me to devalue this thing?
Yeah.
And then they pop over with the CGC person. I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Damn,
I think I do want to throw in there, just to clarify for you guys, this is contingent on our ability to actually procure a PS5, should that be your console of choice.
Yes.
I'm sure that we can get a PS5.
I'm not giving you mine. Sorry.
I mean, we have plans to try our best to do that. I mean, it's obviously there's no guarantees that there will be availability, but we're
You're gonna get it. Right? You're gonna if you win the contest, you're gonna get it hell or high water.
You're gonna get it eventually. We just can't be like Brett said. We don't know if we get it to you right away because that's all dependent on the supply. But you're gonna get your free console. You're gonna get that regardless.
But be sure and be aware that as soon as these consoles become available,
instant
for pre-order, we are gonna like that.
Yeah. We already again, like Carlos said, we already have contingencies. We're gonna buy 2 off the bat, and we'll figure the rest out because it's probably gonna be a PlayStation. But if you want an Xbox, we got you. We got you.
One of many SKUs.
It could very well be an Xbox.
It could be. Hell, it'll be better for us. It'll be better for us if it's the S. It'll cost less money.
And by the way, if you want to Switch, that shit might even be harder to get than the new consoles.
Yo, that's true. But you know what? Fuck it. Switch is not next gen console. We'll throw that in there too. If you want a Switch, we'll get you a Switch. Whatever you want, man. We can't get you the fucking the N-Gage. Can't get you that shit though, unfortunately. Or the Ouya, or the
isn't the Switch
Commodore 64? They got Commodore 64 that's out.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. All right, man. So there you go. Contest will be coming as soon as PlayStation, announces their shit. We're rolling. We're already good to go. We're ready to pull the trigger on this shit. All right. So tonight we're gonna have it's an all Xbox special, people. We're supposedly the Pony Cast. Now we're gonna talk about Xbox. Ain't that something? Who just subscribed to us, by the way? Carlos, did you see that? Fonzie, I can't put that shit up there, man. Thank you, Barry.
He knows better.
But
he knows better than that.
Brett, you see, they did the payment system.
Oh, we're not getting. We're not getting to that yet. But yeah, they did do the payment system.
Are we gonna start with Sony's lack of news?
No, we're not talking. We'll get to Sony maybe at the end of the show, but this is all Xbox right now. We're just talking Xbox.
I know that was just a dig because I'm mad at them for keeping me waiting.
Yeah.
Hardhead 7WD just followed us on Twitch.
Hardhead, that's my dude right there, man, from Twitter. What's up, brother? Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
I heard of that.
All right, man. Let's talk about it, man. So on Monday night, Monday was Memorial Day, right? Or Labor Day, one of those fucking days, right?
Holiday,
yeah.
Labor Day.
Literally Labor Day, right? I get back home from my boy Mike's place. We had a barbecue. We were chilling and shit. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just chill tonight, boy.
Drinking Coronas,
you already know.
Sending me pictures, not inviting me.
10 o'clock, I start getting these fucking messages like, yo, did you see this fucking leak? The Xbox Series X is going to cost $300. I'm like, from where? Saw the image. I'm like, shit looks legit. And I forgot the guy's name, but he was a pretty well-known guy. He made a video. He posted. I don't know where the fuck he got this shit from. So, and then the whole internet went fucking nuts. And within an hour, there were already memes. Like dudes were holding the Xbox Series S over their heads, like there was a boom box and shit. Crazy.
Like say anything.
What happened?
Them say anything. The movie where.
They did that. Oh, there's a little story about that. So Dual Shockers, they did that as a meme, right? And then IGN took it without giving them credit.
Wouldn't be the first time.
So anyway, so at 3 a.m. that night, again, I was ready. I was like, I'm probably going to go to sleep early. I got some work tomorrow. I stayed up because I'm watching all the crazy memes. 3 a.m., Microsoft puts out a tweet. It's that monkey that's like looking shifty eyes, like, something happened. I'm like, oh shit, Microsoft knows too. Like they were onto it, And then obviously the next day we get the official announcement. Xbox Series S is coming. It's not Lockhart. It's at Series S, $300, right? As some have speculated, including Danny Pena. He's been saying this shit since January that it's going to be $300. But this is the one we've talked about before too, though. So it's not a surprise. It's the GIMP version of the Series X. By the way, I'm going to start calling them the S and the X just to make it simple.
Yeah, just to make it simple. Yeah.
So it's going to be. Here's the thing about the S, right? It's basically the same system except it can't do 4K, right? That's about it. I believe.
Sure, I thought it could do 4K and
No, I can't. Not games. Can't do games.
The movies.
Movies. I believe so. Yeah, resolution is the only thing. And I believe the CPU, they're virtually identical, the CPU and all that. But yeah, it's just the GIMP version of it, So
and the hard drive is like 512 or something.
So yeah, now that it's been, and then of course later on that week, which I believe it was yesterday, they finally announced the Series X. That's $500, and both of them are going to be coming out November 10th. Pre-orders go up on September 22nd. So That half of it is done. So basically, this game of chicken that they've been playing this whole time, Sony and Microsoft, through no fault of their own, swerved first. You know, so now we got that half of the equation. So yeah, let's.
I feel like
Whoa! Yeah, they're like, whoa, shit. You know. Go ahead, Brett. What were you saying?
I don't think that the drop was because they got caught. I think it's just they were the closer you get to the reveal of something.
No,
Brett, they had to the leak. It was the leak. It was because of the leak.
It was purely because of the leak.
Yes.
And the further proof of this is a video that Digital Foundry did. They literally were sitting on a video of them talking about the original, about that other version of the console that was going to be released on a later date.
Yeah, basically, Digital Foundry, they've been sitting on the S since March.
Yes.
It was supposed to have. Here's the thing. Here's what a lot of people are saying. This official announcement was supposed to happen next week. That's what a lot of insiders are saying. This was supposed to happen next week. But
not insiders. This is what Phil Spencer said.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You know what? There you go. Phil Spencer said it himself. So, Brett, there you go. That it was the leak. The leak was the reason. Yep. There you go.
I mean, good follow through with Microsoft then. Like, way to stay on top of shit and just be like, fine, let's just get ahead of this thing.
Yeah. No, it's very smart. They did the right thing here, So, yeah, what do you guys think? The S and the X. What do you think? The price
$300 is too low. I'm going to say the most unpopular opinion right away. That thing is going to hold back the rest of the iterations, and that really concerns me.
Brett, it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Brett. It's funny you mentioned that because some developers are actually saying that exact same thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an explanation why a certain cornerstone Microsoft game looks the way it does.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm sorry. Yes. Anyway, I'm sorry for cutting you off, Brett. Go ahead. Yeah. So what are you saying? So so you said it's too low. It's going to hold development back.
It's too low. Even if it's a ridiculous fucking deal, the thing is going to be severely underpowered. Like the thing is on par or cheaper than your current lineup. So it's going to be incredibly confusing. You won't be able to go. Their name lineup is confusing. Now their price lineup is confusing. People aren't going to know which one to get for their kids or their grandkids or their nephews or whatever the fuck. They've lost the shelf appeal of the Elite system.
I find it funny how people say that this is really bad for the consumers as they don't know which one to pick. But yet no one ever says that about how many phones Samsung brings out every year. Or how many phones Apple brings out every year. Somehow that's not.
And I said about fucking video cards too. But the fact that even the generation,
there's two. Like if you get confused by two things, then I don't think
there's nothing that looks like this Xbox.
There's the Xbox One.
It's very distinct. It has that big speaker on the side.
That's like saying that the PS5 will also be as confusing because then there's the PS4, there's the PS4 Pro, there's a PS5.
That's pretty straightforward and simple. PS4, PS4 Pro, PS4, PS5.
Oh, the Xbox One S.
Yes, Xbox One.
You can argue that the naming sounds very similar, but in terms of what they are, it's like, you have the old Xbox, you have the new Xbox.
You didn't know any better. That you'd have the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S. It's just that
right
I get
there.
confused.
Yeah, exactly.
So which ones did they discontinue? Because there was ones that they
they are the One X.
Okay, the Xbox One X,
and then the OG one. The OG. So I think it's only the S that's available.
Yeah, it's going to be the old S, the new S, and the new X.
Yeah,
God damn it! That hurt me right there just hearing that shit.
I don't understand how all this is super complicated. It's like, do you guys keep up with anything that goes on? Because this is relatively tame compared to everything else. Like, look at damn TVs. Like, this is like the QZ XR5557 TV.
Yeah, and that's confusing too.
554 TV. It's like, what's the difference?
That's confusing too, Brian. There is no difference.
This is like the least confusing thing in terms of text. So hence why Hence why I'm confused. I'm confused why you're confused. Like, this is simple compared to everything else tech-wise that exists. Compared to phones,
we're not fancy British people. We're dumb Americans.
Okay,
We
so
don't understand
you don't
shit.
you don't really hear the difference between Xbox One X and Xbox Series X. Like that doesn't sound like somebody who's not a gamer could get those two confused in any world.
But then now you change it from they sound the same. It's like,
if they're not a gamer, then the first thing a non-gamer would do if they go in the store is ask somebody that works there.
Yeah, buy a Switch.
Buy a Switch. Yeah.
Mobile.
Which is a new one? And they'll say the small white one. Okay.
No, but the big black one is a new one too.
No, but for the cheap one, if they say cheap and that's an S, because that's what he was saying. He was talking about the S comparison to Series S. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's going to be
like obviously the oldest one is the cheapest one. The Xbox One X is more expensive than the Xbox Series S. So the Xbox Series S must be the old one. Therefore, I'm going to get the Xbox One X because that's the mid-tier version. That's what it fucking sounds like, and that's what the prices say.
Yeah, I feel sorry for customer service having to explain this shit to people, you know? Because people are going to get confused. Again, even professional people are getting confused. The average consumer is going to be like, "What the hell is this?" I mean, shit?
even the digital.
I'm sorry.
Even the Digital Foundry guys were having problems with that. By the way, when they were,
I think that's more just how similar they are being named. And again, we can all agree that the naming is really similar, and that's what causes annoyance. But in terms of separating them apart, the old Xbox, the new Xbox.
But they're not marketing it that way, Brian.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They're not called that. That's not what people go.
And
unless they're talking to a sales associate. And most of the time, when you want to find out which is the newest thing, you look at the price, Brian. That's not the case in this one, which is the curveball.
Yeah, it's literally underpowered compared to the Xbox One X.
Well, that one is the other one they discontinued.
No, it's this one too.
Yeah,
this one is
X is gone. The Xbox
Wait, is that true?
One is gone.
Yes, it is true.
Yeah.
Hold on, whoa.
It's just the Xbox.
According to the Digital Foundry guys, the best thing that this probably can do is a 1080p. This version of the Xbox Series S.
No, I understand that, but the thing is, the SSD is what makes a difference, right? It loads fast, right?
It loads fast, but the thing is that it doesn't matter when you're playing the games. It's not going to even run the X versions of the games.
Yeah, that's also true.
The One X versions of the games. It's going to be running the regular Xbox One versions of the games, or the S versions, as they call it, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
look at we're fucking professionals. We're getting stuck on this fucking naming shit because S and X are very phonetically similar, you know.
And now again, this is right now. It's what I'm calling Mogwai rules. It's like, okay, it does this, but this one doesn't do this. This one doesn't do it, but it's not as powerful as the one that's before. But it's not that.
Yeah. So what Manny's talking about is how Xbox Series S will not play Xbox Series X content via backwards compatibility.
Yes, it will play Xbox. It will play old Xbox One games. So those 900p games that you remember for the original Xbox One, it will play that version of the game. Now, granted, they didn't say if it does anything to that version of it.
So this is me speculating right now. I'm assuming it just loads them faster because otherwise, what the hell's the point?
It probably loads them faster, and then it's also probably upscaling it. So you're getting on this console, you're getting a sort of again speculation, but you're getting an upscaled version of whatever's before. But the games will run even better than they did on the original Xbox One.
Yeah.
So here's my question, which could be providing even more confusion. Since everything is running backwards compatible for the first 2 years, does the Xbox One X have more power than the Xbox Series X?
Brett, just say the S and the X, just to keep it simple. You know.
No. Does the Xbox One X of this current generation have more power than next generation Series S? Steve?
Yes,
depends.
That's even more confusing. So, which is the best Xbox? Well,
I'm literally okay. Brett, stop. Depends where you want the power to be. In terms of CPU, the new S is better. In terms of speed and RAM, the new S is better. In terms of pure GPU teraflops, the old X is better.
And this is what you think aunts and uncles and grandparents and parents are going to deal with.
What they're going to do is what's the cheapest and what's the newest. That's just what they do.
X doesn't exist anymore. It's been discontinued. Like we talked about this.
That is true.
Yeah, Brett. The only people getting screwed right now are big box stores. Best Buy and all of them, and Target that have a fucking surplus of this shit in their warehouse.
Yeah,
they have to go sell this shit on a loss.
Yeah, just for clarification's sake, the Xbox systems that are available are the Xbox One S, right? Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. Those are the three available ones.
Those are the three.
All right, just to make sure. So the one, well, yeah, the One X out of the equation. We don't count that anymore. It's been discontinued.
Yeah, gone.
All right. So keep the conversation going.
Yeah. So it's really going to suck for the retailer. So if anybody was even in the market, even like when you talk about these non-gamers, this is the best time for them to go. Because if they don't really give a shit and they just want something that'll play games and Blu-rays and stuff, I'm sure they're going to get an Xbox cheap for like $199 for one of these other ones. Because now Target and all Best Buy and Walmart that have all these current gen Xboxes, like you said, they're going to have to sell them and take a loss because the new ones are coming at $299. So what are you going to do? They're going to have some kind of blowout sale probably for Black Friday or even before then.
Was the Wii and Wii U confusing? Yes, it was. It was hardcore confusing.
Incredibly confusing. I worked for a game store at the time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the reason the Wii U sold so poorly was because people thought it was just like an add-on to the Wii. It was hardcore confusing. I remember when they first announced that shit during E3, all the journalists were like, "What the fuck?" It's like nobody knew. We
were covering Chris was working at Nintendo at the time, and literally me and Tony were like, "Dude, where's the fucking console?"
Yeah, but a lot of people were like, "Is this the console? Is the controller the console?" So yeah, that was confusing as fuck. But this one, again, the thing, and this just came out tonight that apparently, like, it can't run X game. The S can't run X games.
Okay, can I just interject because I went through and I watched.
Yeah, please explain, Brian, because I'm fucking confused.
I watched the video, and basically the Digital Foundry guys were just speculating based on the RAM of the new S with the old X, in that the new S has less RAM than the old X. Hence why they're thinking, if this is the case, then chances are you won't be able to get all the Xbox One X features on the Xbox Series X. Again, that's them just speculating.
That's fine. Okay, I'm glad you. Thank you for clarifying that.
But there was some. What was that? There was speculation from Digital Foundry, and then there was something else. Wasn't there some sort of writing that said what exactly it was? It wasn't just that Digital Foundry speculation video.
If there is, then
I don't know about it.
Again, I remember that being tweeted out. I remember that being tweeted out.
It wasn't just something that somebody wrote based on the Digital Foundry thing.
No, it was something from. It looked like an excerpt from something.
All right. Well, we can't. I don't want to comment on that.
I can't. Yeah.
Okay. So now, that's clear now. It was Digital Foundry speculating. Okay. Good. Thank you. We're slowly unraveling this shit.
But it doesn't.
Let Brian finish. Let Brian finish. Brian, go first.
The reset error thingamajig was just them taking that one quote out of context without even saying that, this is just them speculating. They like wrote it as if it was fact. It's like,
Got you.
They're just saying that, hey, this is what Digital Foundry guys have speculated, and we're going to write about it as if it's a thing. And it's like, that's not the case,
So the thing about it is, in general, I mean, because like it probably won't be able to run those things those games that need higher RAM, right? Unless we're thinking that the magical, since SSD is the magic word these days, that the magic SSD will somehow fix this, right?
The SSDs only deal with like really loading speeds. Like in terms of whether or not they'll have those features, that's an entirely I think it's down to a game-by-game basis, because again, every game will be different. If the game can support it in terms of the codes there, that's able to upsample and all sorts, then I think things should be fine. Because again, that's how PCs work. In that you get the base game, and then you fiddle around with all the settings, and you can get different types of looks based on what's there. So again, hence I said I think it's down to a game by game basis. Which, again, unless we see the code, we can't say anything about it apart from we think that's the case.
All right. I do want to touch on the what some developers have been saying. They're worried that the S is going to hold back development. Because it's a weaker system. They have to accommodate for that lowest common denominator type of stuff. And we've talked about that before too on the show.
See, now this is an interesting comment that they've made, and I can see where they're coming from, but in terms of, again, one of the big things of this generation now, like the PS5 for Xbox One, is that the CPUs were just shit. Like, that's no doubt. Like, this is one of the reasons why games just didn't run all that well. We said this like way back when.
No, you're right. Yeah,
they announced this CPUs are just not that fast. Like the Jaguar CPUs, they're pretty much just laptop type, tablet type CPUs. They have no right being in consoles. They're just not powerful enough. So with the S having pretty much the same CPU as the X, that's like on a CPU front, it can do the same calculations, right? As pretty much as fast. Maybe it's like 98%, 96% the speed, but it's pretty much on par. The only place where you'll see the limitation is pretty much on the GPU processing side. And as we know, on PC, you get different types of GPUs. So hence I see what he's saying, and logically it makes sense. But when you look into it, all that you will potentially be seeing is, hey, you'll get the CSX, you see the X version, and then the S version will simply just be the same. Won't look as nice because, again, lower textures, lower particle effects, and lower resolution.
And probably no ray tracing.
Well, it says it had no ray tracing. That was one of the things in the specs.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
which I was surprised. I was like, oh wow, all right.
So basically, it's going to be the X with a lesser GPU, and to me that sounds like it's the same thing. Then it's just a low-powered PC. Well, it's the same PC but with a smaller GPU. So hence
and less RAM.
But the RAM only really matters when you're looking at the GPU, because again, it's the RAM is shared between the main RAM and the GPU RAM. So hence, if you're not going to be doing 4K, then why need more RAM? It's like sticking 128 gigs in a PS4. Like, do you need that much RAM? Like, no, you're not doing that much textures.
You could be folding it 9 times.
Okay.
True. So I feel like what that guy said is just him saying that, oh no, it's less powered. And then everyone just took that and ran with it. It's like, well, you look into it, because most people don't tend to really look into things. They just hear what someone said on Twitter and then they run with it as an idea. It's like, it's just the same spec PC with slightly less RAM and lower GPU. So it makes sense,
Hey, Brian, what is the difference between the PlayStation and the PlayStation Pro?
I don't know. I thought that
the correctly, onboard memory.
The CPU was slightly more powerful. It was I believe it was overclocked, and the GPU was effectively twice that.
I was gonna say, wasn't it just RAM and GPU? Like, won't this be the difference between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro?
No, it's drastically between PS4 Pro and PS5.
No, between PS4 and PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
like the difference between the PS4 and PS4 Pro.
CPU and more powerful GPU. There wasn't really any RAM change.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Brett, but you're asking if the difference between the S and the X will be the same as the PS4 and PS4 Pro. That's what you're asking?
Potentially so.
Not specifically tech-wise, but overall how you're going to perceive it, yes.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
No, I think it between you said the S and the X,
yes.
The old X and the
no. The new consoles now, the new Xboxes. We're talking about the new Xboxes now.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
What Brad's saying is that the current Xbox setup is analogous to the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, in that you have one, and then one just has more GPU and slightly better CPU.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yep, Brian's right.
So yes or no to Brett's question?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
As I said, CPU wise, it's like a point. I think it's like 0.1. Yeah, 0.1 or like 0.2 gigahertz difference in CPUs. I think the X has, I think, like 4 gigs more RAM or 6 gigs more RAM. And of course the GPU is 4 teraflops rated instead of 12 teraflops rated, which makes sense. Again, they're not targeting this for guys that want to plug in a 4K and all sorts, so hence less GPU, 1440p, don't need that much power.
All right. So that's that. So anyway, so still sticking on this topic here, who is the S ultimately for? Is it just casual consumers? Who is this really for? The GIMP system.
Casuals and people that are accustomed to doing payment plans and are cool with that. It's like, I don't have to do all the money up front. $20, $30 a month if you get Game Pass Ultimate with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Since you bring it up, so basically, if you have a Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, right, for $25 a month, is $24.99, $25 a month for 2 years. You could buy the S, right, along with Xbox Game Pass, and for $35 a month, you get the X, paid off for 2 years. Pretty good deal, And just because I know some people did the math, they're like, oh, this shit comes out to $800. What the fuck? Remember, you're not, all that money is not going directly to the console. You're also paying for Xbox Game Pass along with it,
Yeah. Essentially, you're paying for 2 months. 2 years of Game Pass, plus the price of a console.
Yeah.
No interest.
Yeah, which is pretty good. Yeah, and when people actually when people actually crunch the numbers correctly, it comes out to be exact same. As a matter of fact, it comes out to be $2 cheaper for one of the systems.
$2 cheaper.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
If it comes out to $800 and a year of Xbox Game Pass costs how much?
15 Ultimate 15.
Ultimate, it's no, that's a month, but for the year, I think.
For the year, I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's for
$180.
It's $180 for Ultimate.
Yeah, for the year.
Okay, is that based on buying per month or just buying the year one? Because again, you can buy like a year's worth of Xbox. I think you can. Let me just
check. But I think they're basing it off of the month, what it costs per month, which is $15.
Okay, yeah, that's stupid because you can buy a year of PlayStation Plus for like $60 or whatever.
Yeah. No,
so
but
I imagine it would be roughly like, I don't see there being another $400 worth of value being added to this machine. Like, don't get me wrong, that's what happens when you do payment plans. But yeah, the people are like, oh, well, keep in mind, you're getting this and this. Like, no, you're still paying twice as much as you should. It's not a good deal.
But you're also getting Game Pass with the deal. Understand?
Yeah, and I could buy.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And you're not paying up front.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. A lot of people see it as a plus when they only see a $20, $30 price as opposed to having the $300 or $400 or whatever month that they need if they want to get the game service and all that on top of it. It's a quick and easy purchase, especially if, let's say, you go in not planning to get a console. If that's what they're really going for, where people just come in and was like, shit, I'm going to spend all that money. Oh, it's only like $30 and you get this and you get that. It's like, yeah, I get, yeah, all right. It's not all that money up front. I think that's what they're hoping for.
Dude, I don't know why everybody sees these payment plans as a good thing. Like, I genuinely don't
love them. They love them.
At them right now.
Look at the phones. I don't do it. I buy my phones outright, but there's plenty of people that do that.
Wait, say that again, Brett.
I said people love payday loans too, but that doesn't make it a good fucking thing.
They don't make it a good thing, but that's just what they do. Fucking all day digital one time. I had like a 2-hour conversation. Motherfucker trying to convince me to get an iPhone X to do payments on it. Oh, it's cool. You can just do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do any payments. No, you can do it. It's only like $15. Stop being cheap. Stop being cheap. He was texting me after that. You're so cheap. You're so cheap. Like, I'm not cheap. I just don't want to do it.
It just has nothing to do with it. Like, if you think about it, like, okay, $20 a month. You're like, I can afford $20 a month. Okay, well then save that $20 a month for half the amount of time. Get one next year. This time. Like, it's if you can pay the $20 to $35 a month to pay Microsoft reliably, then you can save reliably at twice the normal rate.
But that's planning. That's planning, and that's most likely those people. They're going to get the other Xbox. They're going to get the X. This is for people that are not getting that had no plans of getting that shit.
That feels like taking advantage of people. Like, hey,
that's okay. That's that's American way. That's it. Suckers born every moment. Let's
hold on, Brett. Hold on, Adam, chill. Brett, whoa. Okay, Carlos, you first, and then Brett. Go ahead.
This will be super fast. So I'm gonna do the numbers while you guys talk, but I just need to find out. It's $25 for the S a month.
Yes.
And how much for the X?
35.
35.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett. What were you saying?
Oh, I feel like it's being paraded around like, oh, this is a chance to put a next gen console in your hands. Classically, whenever people do this, it's kind of for nefarious motives, and it's a little underhanded. You're taking advantage of people who don't necessarily have the money, and you're locking them in to a situation where, especially at this point in like a fucking post-pandemic gig economy, like, you don't know when that shit's gonna come out and what happens then. Like, do they come back and repo your Xbox? Do they brick it remotely? Do they just ping your credit and you have an $800 debt sitting over your head?
They'll probably treat it like a phone, and what they do with the cell phones, same shit, right? They turn it off, it won't work, the service. So I'm assuming the service won't work, and remember, it's gonna ping your credit. So if you still have to have decent credit to get this, who's gonna risk just damaging their credit for a damn $299 box? I don't think that many people would. They'd be like, shit. Most people, like I said, that do the payments for their phones. That's over $1,000.
I have to say this. I'm gonna probably sound like an asshole right now, but I have to ask the obvious question. If you can't afford $300, you probably shouldn't be financing a console.
But again,
I'm just keeping it real right now. Like, if you can't pay for $300 off the bat, you probably shouldn't be fucking financing a console, man.
But I think this is more for that spontaneous buyer. That person is like, I had no plans of buying this. I walked into the store to get batteries, and I came out with this damn console because it was, cheap payment plan.
Spending $300.
I think people do it with TVs and shit. I've seen people. I've had buddies that have done that with TVs. They're like, "Yo, come to my house. I got a new TV." What the fuck? We had no plans of getting TV. Yeah, but they had this payment thing, and I qualified for financing and shit. And people do it.
I totally believe it. Again, Rent-A-Center exists.
Yeah, of course, Rent-A-Center. That's the worst of them all. You don't.
It's the exact same thing. That's why I was like, man, I hate Rent-A-Center. And this is just Microsoft being like, hey, instead of letting Rent-A-Center, because Rent-A-Center does give.
Yeah, they can give consoles. You get consoles and PCs. Yeah.
Hey, why let other people take advantage of our customers when we could take advantage of our customers?
They've been trying to get in this market for a while. Remember, the 360 was trying to tie in with Comcast and cable companies. Remember, where like you could have that as a cable box also.
Yeah, I don't know. My whole thing is like I could understand somebody financing the $500 one, $300 one. Really.
I think it's to be fair, right? Because if people would bid. Let's say right now, if they announced you had to pay outright for the $300, but you could finance the other one, people would be up and up. Why can't I do the other one?
Yeah. Shout out to John Christ, man. Thanks for the cheers, brother. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
$299 loans are only saved for the worst credit offenders. My first credit card comes with like.
$300. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing on this.
If you have no credit, you can get a $300 credit card. This is not about putting the console in people's hands and making accessible. Anybody can get a $300 Visa. Anybody. And you'll probably honestly pay less because I don't know. I'd have to crunch the numbers side by side.
Manny, you're muted.
All right. So
here's the point. The point is not actually the console, by the way. It's not the console at all. It's all to get you into the service.
That's right.
Only that.
They're gonna get their
they don't. I mean, I hate to say this, but and not to say that they don't care about the console, but that's the least thing. They want to get you. They want to get you. There's a Trojan horse. They want to get you in there, and they want you to be like essentially be like your Netflix, where essentially you just leave it on for years, and you don't really forget it's there. And when you do decide to go into it, it's there waiting for you. And that's what it really is.
Manny, then why is the markup so high?
Markup on what?
If it goes from a $400 system or a $300 system to like a $600 to $800 system, that is not doing really good at getting it out there and getting
Again, that whole payment is not just going to the console; it's going to
it's
Game
not going
Pass
to the
too.
consoles.
You know,
Yeah,
if
you're
you
essentially
all right, hold on.
It's like your cell phone plan. Whenever they have the double the thing, it's like, okay, yeah, you can buy it now, or you could spread it out over the month with your bill. You're still paying. You're still paying for your phone, and you're still paying your phone bill at the same time. You're not getting any discount on anything.
Yeah, you're getting this, and you're getting an ultimate service, which is giving you the online.
Again, that those $800, that $800 is not the system. $500 of that is for the system. $300 is for the service.
It's exactly the way it's exactly like the way you getting a cell phone currently right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, you can buy it now for the original price of $500 or $600, whatever, how much the phone costs, or you could spread it out through your bill and pay it off every single month.
I can't believe, there's like billions of scenarios, different timelines, and everything. And this is the one timeline where all of us are defending Microsoft from Brett.
I'm not. By the way, I'm not defending. I'm just, I don't care either way.
So here's the question. This a quick one.
I'm finished. So I got the numbers.
Okay.
All right. So if you're gonna buy an S or an X using the payment plan with Ultimate and plus the console, the S at the end of the day is going to be $600.
Without the Game Pass included?
No.
With it, right? With the okay, gotcha. Okay.
Game Pass plus the console. The S is $600.
Okay.
The X is for $840.
Okay.
So I did a couple of other calculations, and if you're going to buy the console up front with Game Pass and you pay it monthly, let's say $15 a month every month for 2 years.
Wait, why would you? That's not a fair comparison.
It's one of the scenarios. I'm going to go through the ones where you get cheaper options. Okay. So that one is $660 for the S, $860 for the X. So if you do the payment plan, you'd be saving $60 on the S, and you'd be saving $20 on the X. And then there's another scenario where I looked at cdkeys.com and I looked for 12-month trials for Game Pass Ultimate.
I'm always looking. Those shits are gone.
CD Keys is always the best place to get these types of things, even better than Xbox. And to get the S, it's $568, and the X is $768. So if you do the upfront plus the CD keys for 2 years of Game Pass, it's you save $32 if you do the upfront with CD keys for the S, and you save $72 for the X.
Okay, and so this is taking into account. I mean, it's $120 per year. That is what you're calculating, right?
For what?
Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold bundled together is $120 per year.
With CD keys or from Microsoft?
Microsoft.
For Microsoft, a year is... Do that. 12. It's
calculating. 180?
No, it's 120. I'm looking at the website right now.
100. Well, if it's $15 a month times 12, it's 100.
No, you buy it per year, man. You're comparing making a 2-year commitment to not making a 2-year commitment. If you're comparing apples to apples, you should compare it to 2 1-year passes of Xbox Game Pass, which comes to a total of $240. Not $360.
Right.
Okay, Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't you just compare the monthly situation and both the 1-year pass times 2 from CD Keys situation?
Yeah. Yes, okay, but he was quoting $180 a year per.
No, that's CD Keys. No, that's the monthly. The CD Keys is $268 for 2 years. So $134 a year.
And whatever. I guess that's relatively comparable.
So, a person, and this is us doing the freaking math, and no one, who else is going to do this shit?
Yeah. It's going to be up to somebody in the store to try.
If we had Chris on my man, we'd have charts and shit,
Yeah. So a person, a regular person going into Walmart or Best Buy or GameStop trying to buy this console, they're gonna see $24 a month. I can do that. But if you tell them, oh, $300 plus $15 a month, or $300 plus whatever the monthly or whatever the yearly cost is, it's a much more daunting thing for a lot of people. And of course it could be nefarious in its nature, because it could attract people that potentially don't have the means to produce that money throughout the life cycle of those 2 years. But that's the reality, and that's how they get you. That's the rope-a-dope. Oh, man.
Yeah. All right. Did we clear? Like, my head hurts all this fucking math.
Here's the question.
All that shit went right over my head. I don't fucking get it.
Here's the question.
Manny, you're muted again.
You're literally having that moment where you see, like that, like it's like your face and you see all the little numbers and things like.
I'm that mean. Yeah, I'm that mean right now.
Last question on this part. Last question. Anybody here planning on picking this up?
No.
Okay. Anybody in the chat? Anybody there?
That's a good question. Yeah. Anybody in the chat? Are you gonna get the S?
Or the X, for that matter.
Is S going to get it to you?
Is it S or S going to give it to you?
Okay, yeah. Either console. Are you gonna get the new Xbox? Let's just throw it like that. Okay, so let's go down the line here. Adam.
No, I'm not gonna get this.
Right, Manny, you already know your answer. Me, no. Carlos.
No.
Brian.
You know my answer.
Yep, and Brett. I guess. No, you're not getting that shit either.
Probably. No, I probably am.
No, wait, the gimped one, Brett?
I'm not sure between the two.
Really?
Yeah, dude, if I'm getting it just to play exclusives, of course I'm going to get the $300 one. But most likely, I don't want to deal with
man. You said before you care about fucking power.
And that's why I was continuing to say, but most likely, I don't think money's going to be that tight. $200 isn't something you're going to plan for and save for.
I'm never going to the casino with this.
Wait, I'm confused.
Dude,
Brett,
Adam,
you've been shitting on the Lockhart forever. Now you're planning on getting it? What?
All right, I'm done.
Seriously, Brett, explain this, please.
Brett of the Wild.
He's the Wild. Said that I'm probably getting the X, not the S.
Oh, but when I asked you, hold on, whoa, I specifically.
You guys want to keep bumping over each other to ask me the questions, or you want to give me a second to explain?
Okay, I'm just gonna ask again, Brett, and then I'll let you go off. Are you getting the S or the X?
Most likely the X, but the S is still a possibility.
Okay, explain that one.
I mean, to those of you who we must live in different worlds, because I live fucking hand to mouth in the sense that I get paid for the work that I just produced. I don't know a paycheck's going to come. I don't have a paycheck. So it's not like, it sounds irresponsible to some people, but it's not like I get to plan ahead for the things that I want all that often. It's usually it's when the money comes in. It's not like you're going out just to spend it all. It's that you've had a list of wants forever. And that money's in, so if you don't fucking spend it, it'll just bleed a hole in your pocket through fucking candy bars and Red Bulls and, fucking cigarettes. Like, I know this for a fact. Unearmarked money is spent money. So I've learned, weirdly enough, to, when I have something, either sock it away in something for a specific thing or learn to spend it. So, and I've been socking money away. So I know at the very least with the money I have socked away, I don't know what the PlayStation is going to cost. I don't know if I'll be able to afford both of them, but I know I'll be able to
payment. You're the perfect person for the payment. There you go. That's another reason.
Yeah, except I'm not an idiot. So
let him finish. Let him finish. Adam, go ahead, Brett.
Dude, I just got done telling you, I am not the kind of person to bank on money I haven't made yet. That's not my profession. I work full cash. My money is the money in my pocket, the money that I have, not the money that I'm going to make. The second you plan on the money that you're going to make, that's a fool's decision in my opinion. And not to talk shit on anybody who might be getting that. You may have a steady paycheck and a guaranteed job in 2 years, but you know what? I don't know how many of us do, especially in this fucking pandemic, especially in this economy. Like, if you're working a gig economy, if you're working in the gig economy, I wouldn't do that shit. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years.
at least 3 of us in this room work in a gig economy, in a gig sort of work thing.
Yep.
And I understand where Brett is coming from. If he doesn't know where he's going to be,
no, it makes sense now. Yeah.
In the future, you either if you have the money at the time, you spend it, or you do something else.
Yeah, no, I get it now.
So for the people that don't have the money at the time.
No, we're talking about Brett right now. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about Brett. We're talking about Brett. We're talking about Brett.
Money at the time. If you don't have, because you said you wanted both. That you said.
Yeah. I'm sorry if people didn't realize that a next gen console was coming this year for like, I don't know,
you're gonna buy both? That's what you're saving for both?
Yeah.
Right.
And to those who don't have the money for either, I would be like, bro, you should have been saving for, especially the people I would say, like, I'm thinking about paying a monthly plan because I don't have any money saved up. Like, dude, you should have been saving money. What the fuck? Did you not know there was a new console coming out? Did you not think you were going to want it? Were you suddenly like, you know what? I had a prophetic dream where 3 ghosts visited me, and now I want a PlayStation. Like, that shit doesn't happen, man. You had to know the shit was coming. And there are some people out there who have wanted to save money at it and have run into hard situations, and I totally understand that. I do it. I have infinite amount of sympathy for that. But even with that infinite amount of sympathy, I would say, if you thought you had money but weren't able to save, then a payment plan is probably not in your best interest.
Yeah.
So,
I know, Brett. I completely understand where you're coming from. You may have to get the S. You don't know what the fuck was going to happen tomorrow.
Well, especially since
I get it. Makes sense.
Since the X is like it's $5.99.
$4.99, man.
$4.99.
This ain't the PS3.
Sorry. This is ours.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. By the way, a quick thing, Brett. Piggy Dan says, I sympathize with Brett. I know he works hard. By the way, awesome tattoo story for that interview on YouTube, Brett. All right, cool. Appreciate that, brother. A lot of guys in the chat are, Brett, this is the first one. They're feeling where you're coming from, man.
Oh, fucking awesome. Hey, nice guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to my side. Pleasure to see you.
Yeah. And obviously,
I'll run you off soon in the next topic.
Yeah, you'll piss them off.
It's cool.
Yeah, no, you Brett, because even though we have different presidents, I'm in the same boat as you, brother. I don't know how much money I'm going to get per month. Who the fuck knows?
No,
so I get that.
That's the freelance life. That's the work for hire sort of life.
Yeah.
Where it's like 1 minute you could be rolling in fucking dough, and then the next month you're fucking
feast
burning.
Or famine. That's what I call my life. Feast or famine. I'm living good or I'm just scrimping right now. But I will admit though, with the whole Rona thing, I actually do have a lot more money than usual because I'm not going out. But no, Brad, I feel you, brother.
This is the way that I've always done it. I've talked about on the podcast before. Like, I had all these systems growing up, but the reason that I did it was I always knew that when they were coming out. And for like the 2 years ahead of time, I'd sock money away, and I'd sock money away, and I'd sock money away. And there's that money you have, like, in your dresser stocked away or something like that. And then there's the extra secret pile of console money that you don't fucking touch. You're feeding 20s into that box every fucking chance that you get, and then praying that by the time the console comes out, you have enough. And then you crack it open, you're like, what do we got? Do we have enough for console? Yes. Do we have enough for a controller? Yes. Do we have enough for a game? Yes. All right. No, we're done. We're done. Hit the finish line.
That was me when I was a kid. Do work around the house and do taking little jobs and stuff like that and putting away every month. I mean, granted, I didn't as a kid. I didn't. We knew when these things were coming out, but we obviously it's like. You didn't make that, at least for me. I didn't make that early decision. I mean, I saw either Adam or someone of my friends had the thing, and I wanted it too. So
I just knew what year it was coming out. Like, so I'd like start to say like I still remember when I went to buy my Super Nintendo. My parents like went to like this furniture pottery fucking place, and there was this like set of like cool like fake encyclopedias with a box inside. Like, what kid doesn't want to get that? And like my dad asked me like, do you want to get this? And I knew it was immediately a trap. I was like, no, because I want to get a Super Nintendo. If I buy that shit, I'll be $30 short for a Super Nintendo. So no, I don't want to buy that. Now take me to the toy store. You promised.
Go ahead.
He could have also been pulling the parent mind game.
Oh no, that's absolutely what he was doing.
He was doing the mind game.
Satisfaction. I know you've been saving for all this year. Now, one last temptation of instant satisfaction versus that thing that you've been saving up for, so I can wreck your dreams to teach you a lesson. I'm glad you did it, because I chose wisely.
One quick thing, because we're talking about the payment plans and all that, and Game Pass. EA Play is actually going to be part of Game Pass for free. Ain't that something?
The
artist formerly known as EA Access, so that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, if you're into sports, it's definitely cool because it's all there. And then
Adam, let me ask you, how fast do those sports games come after release to EA Play?
They come beforehand. You get to play early on there.
What about the full game?
The full game,
because I understand you could play the first 10 hours or so like that.
Yeah.
But then they take it away.
I don't have it. So
yeah. And this is what I find kind of funny. Obviously, the answer is because it's free, right? But I remember people shitting on EA Play or Oregon, whatever, for years, right? Fuck, this thing's stupid, fucking whack. It's not worth it. Now it's suddenly the greatest thing ever. But obviously, it's free, so it tastes a little different, or it hits a little different,
It's also a gimped version compared to the other one that's on PC. Remember, there's two different services. There's the EA Access that they have for PC, and then there's the one that they use for, I think it's called Premium or some other shit. The premium one is on the PC, and then you have the one for the console. You get more games on the PC version.
Interesting.
It is the premium one where you get all the games day one.
Yeah.
This EA, the basic one, is basically like the PS Now, if you wish, where you eventually get the games after a certain amount of time. I don't know what the time limit is, but eventually you do get them.
It basically has a lot of the older back catalog of EA games. Those you can just start playing. It's a bunch of those, but when it comes to the newer stuff, you get a few days, and then you also get a discount if you decide to buy it. I forgot what the percentage is, but there is a discount. So you still have to buy the new one, but you get a discount, and you get to play it early. So it's basically giving you a demo, but it's not so much a demo from what I understand, because everybody who does have it, he says it's the whole thing. It's already installed. So that's the other part that sort of entices you, because I already have the whole game loaded on my system. I've been playing it for a week. And if you like it, you like it. Then you can go and put your money down and you get your little percentage off of it. So if you're already in the boat for it, this works out.
I think there's the other part that of the equation, though, is there's a whole extra bonus to migrating to Xbox now. And if you think about it, this whole Game Pass thing, it allows you the games, they might not be recent games, they might not be the most, the highest selling games, but the old adage of it's new to me works. So if you really think about the experience, if you're migrating over from PlayStation, you're getting a lot of new content. So it's a good deal if you're already in the ecosystem. It's a better deal if you're not. So I think the way
they stay.
Yeah, they stay.
They don't rotate like the Game Pass.
No, and they're really fishing for they're trying to bring Sony fans over to their side, I think. And but by presenting just value for the money is strictly what they're going on. And it's more if you're a Sony player, which is honestly one of the reasons I'm like, man, I need to give me an Xbox.
I'm looking forward to the advertising. How are Microsoft going to advertise this? The fact that it has all these games and services and that it's all bundled in one, and people aren't going to have to pay all these separate services. It's going to be fun to see that. And then just to see how they even advertise the payment system. They're going to try to put that all within a half a minute commercial. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I see it more for kids. Well, I see it more being bought by parents for kids for the same reason my parents got the Sega Channel when I was a kid. I could spend money renting games, or I could buy games, or I could get DLC or whatever. But
imagine that.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Kid, if you woke up, if you didn't really know too much, there's some games or whatever, and you woke up and there's a console and you turn it on and it has all these games already loaded on there.
I had the Sega Channel. It was the most amazing thing. I had a Sega Genesis. The cable man came by, did some black magic to it, some kind of weird, crazy voodoo, and then fucking all of a sudden, I logged in instead of it, when Sega, and then blipped over to the screen I'd never seen with over 300 games. I literally just went from trying one game to trying another game to trying another game, just because I fucking could. Oh, I love that game. I love that game. I love that game. I know I love that game. Kid Chameleon's on here. I'm going to play that shit later. But first, let's try these Sid Meier's games. Let's try this game. Let's try that game. I tried so many fucking different games that just the suite available to me was enough to satiate my appetite. And even if it wasn't, it would have seemed enough to my parents. They would have been like, I'm paying $15 a month for your Sega games. You can choose something out of there. That is just, I can see so many barraggle parents basically just being like, you know what? Fine, I'll just pay the $15 a month, and that way Timmy has games, and that way Timmy can't ask me to buy any fucking games anymore.
Yeah, hold on. I want to read some quick things. Here's a quick correction, and thank you, John, for this. He goes, Origin was PC and EA Access was for consoles, Xbox specifically. EA Access was not on PlayStation, but yeah, thank you for that. And he also, hold on, there's another comment he said. He goes, I don't get that either. He's talking about when I said people hating on, when I was talking about how people hated on EA, now they loved it. He says, I still find EA reprehensible. Making one decent non-predatory game doesn't wash away all the red in their ledger. Damn, son.
Well,
tell me how you feel.
So it's those two services, but then also what pissed a lot of people off is that, let's say if you did have the big one, the PC version, that didn't carry over to the Xbox or to the PlayStation. So you still needed a separate account for EA, their access.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's not all under one, so it's not like Netflix or any of the other ones.
No, you're 100% right, because every EA game I have through Origin, I can't play it on my console. You know, it doesn't work like that. It's not like what Destiny does. I play Destiny 2 on everything. You know, even on Stadia. You know, and it's my same account. You know.
And I know a lot of people.
That's not EA anymore.
No, that's not. You know.
But I know a lot of people got pissed when they were like, "Oh, well, I do have EA access on the Xbox," and then they came over to the PlayStation, so I could just sign in. No, you can't. It's the same shit though. You gotta pay them.
I'm bugging. EA Access came to PlayStation?
They have their own version. So the EA Play, isn't it on PlayStation already? I'm pretty sure.
Not that it is okay. Thank you. Because I'm like, hold on. Since when? Yeah. When did that happen?
Oh, that was a few months ago when they announced that.
I'm sure that we talked about it. It just wasn't very long because no one really cared.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Let's just be real.
That was a big downfall. A lot of people were like shit.
For Tony, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to Street Fighter. You know, that's the other Street Fighter movie though.
The one that's shitty.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to? Actually, no. We're still talking about Xbox. Let's talk about the size of this fucking thing. So. A bunch of sites, including IGN and even a bunch of influencers, they got not the actual consoles, but like the mock-ups of the consoles, right? So you could do size comparison videos, and the S, pretty small. And I'm going to say this right now. I like the design of this more than I like the PlayStation. You guys already know I don't like the PlayStation 5 design. It has those weird things sticking out the top and stuff. This thing is just a fucking rectangle.
What is that?
Yeah, my only, it's not a fan. I think it is a fan. It's a.
It is a fan.
Yeah.
It's the fan.
My thing is, except for the white, because I don't like white consoles. I like my consoles simple. Just give me a fucking rectangle. That's all it needs to be. You know. So I like that design. It's cool. And here's the funny thing about that design, right? Just going back to it a little bit, it looks like an Xbox adaptive controller, you know, which is pretty interesting. And also, here's the thing about obviously the Xbox naming scheme is like confusing because again, S and X are phonetically very similar, but they do give you a visual cue, right? The weaker console, white, the stronger one, black. You know, so that's kind of cool. So they're sticking with that theme, you know.
That could have been the mobile. Imagine we had that as a kid instead of lugging the big ass fucking consoles that we were lugging around.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, to be honest, I was lugging. Let's see, I was lugging Super Nintendos. That's what I was doing. That's probably the reason why my Super Nintendo broke eventually.
Yeah. So the size is pretty cool. You know, they got that big fan.
Did they say anything about the
they didn't say about the weight. I could be wrong, but I don't see anything here. You know. Look, yeah, the Verge, they pointed out too that it looks like the adaptive controller, which it does.
Yeah, step on
it also looks like a speaker too.
It does, yeah. It does look, and a washing machine, you know. If you want to go that far, I like it. I think the Xbox Series.
Hard on that.
Yeah, by the way, I need to get myself out of the habit of saying all that shit. The S is aesthetically pleasing to me, except for the white. If it was black, that'd be fucking awesome.
Well, one thing, it'll be quiet. All those fucking consoles.
Yeah, right. Quiet. Hopefully,
at least in the beginning they will be.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Adam. We are hoping that they'll be quiet.
Well, because the ones I saw at my ass stuff, they're still quiet. Still quiet.
PS4 ain't quiet.
My PS4 is going to Mars every time, man.
Yeah,
it's funny hearing you guys talk about it because mine is quiet as a mouse. The only games that have ever made that fan kick up, Metal Gear Solid 5 and those stupid menus, and fucking Control.
Yeah, really, Control.
Fucking Control makes that fan go like crazy.
Oh,
Pizza
man.
Broom.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you running in this game, Remedy?
That's crazy.
While I'm playing Ghost of playing Ghost of
No, that's
Tsushima.
quiet as fuck.
The game is quiet as fuck.
Yeah, for me too.
Quiet as fuck, and the friggin' like the load times are wonderful. But then I'm playing Control, and I'm like, I can go make a sandwich and shit.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead, bro.
Manny, and this isn't a dig at you. It's just you. You don't play the games that make the most noise. Again, like GTA 5, you don't play that. You actively
No, I don't.
dislike it. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you also don't play that. Like those are two games that are stupidly loud. Like,
yeah, no, Brian's right because I had to play because I played Warzone on PS4, right? Holy fucking shit! Like,
Interesting.
But Manny, you play God of War. Did you have that problem? Because God of War is fucking it's gonna kill my shit.
No, God of War. But here's the thing. It could be the fact that I don't play my consoles nearly as much as everybody else.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It could be like mine is like maybe a few years younger. As far as
playing. It has less experience. He's still naive to the world. He's fresh.
Still naive to the world.
He don't got no gray hairs or nothing. He no arthritis. His hips are still the originals and shit.
Yeah, your console's greener than an Xbox.
Oh yeah, that is true. So yeah, the S, cool. I like the design, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think it's it fits. It looks like an Xbox.
Yes, it does look like an Xbox.
It looks like an Xbox. At least the current iterations of Xbox.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about the X, right? The top is like kind of bent inward a little bit. I didn't really get that notion when I first saw the first images, but it's slightly.
It has,
yeah,
it's got a groove in it.
Yeah, it's got a groove.
People thought there was a light in it, but there's no light.
No,
it's
there's
just
no light.
green on the inside.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Xbox box? So it's the box that the Xbox comes in, and it just basically has the X on it, at the top of it, the grooves,
I'm guessing that's the iconic thing of
it. What the hell did Piggy Dan just say? Throwdown Crew is personifying the consoles again. We don't need more cursed fan fiction. He's talking about the question we made a video of. Kill, fuck, marry. Because we got to personify. We're not going to stick our dicks in a console. So we had to make them into a woman. We're not kinky around here, man.
It's funny. It's funny listening to that because you guys put so much into it.
Yeah, we thought deep.
My thing was like 3 answers, and that's it.
Yeah, no, we went in. It was like it made for an entire segment. I like how Rika's like, I got a question for the question. Oh man! All right, let's move on. So, here we go. Okay, so as you guys know, the Xbox. I need to stop saying that. The X is only going to have 1 terabyte of memory, right? And people are speculating, are we going to have expansions or anything? So this is a leak right now, so take it how you will, right? The leak, there was a leak of the expansion of the Xbox Series X. Fuck, I said it. And it's going to cost $220 supposedly for an expansion card.
Well, it's not the expansion card. It is
the expansion card.
Isn't it for the memory?
No, it's memory. No, I mean it's for. It gives you more memory, but it is it's it says right here expansion card.
It's not really a card though.
That's what it says, man.
But I'm saying it's a hard drive. It's not really a card.
Okay, I'm just reading what the fuck this thing is called.
Right.
Well, technically, if it's SSD, then it's just like a chip, really.
Okay.
Yeah. You stick it into the back of the box. It looks like a little box.
Same term for the one on the PlayStation. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! I can't share. There's the pictures of it. I think this thing's real. This is not a fucking. This is not fake. This is real. So it looks like a little like.
So what size is it?
Fuck.
What's the card set for $200? What are you getting?
Let's see.
1 terabyte.
Terabyte?
This is shit. I hate these fucking articles. I write 50,000 fucking things before they get to the point.
It's 1 terabyte.
It's 1 terabyte. Okay, so it's 1 terabyte. There you go. But they look like they literally look like cards.
I mean,
that's how an SSD looks like. SSDs are small. They look like cards.
It's gonna be an interesting thing because, man, like we didn't talk about this, but the memory on the S is pretty. It's literally old school PlayStation / Xbox. 500 gigabytes.
Oh, for the S.
For the S.
Oh wow. Oh, by the way, on the back of the box, you could literally just stick this thing in there. Storage.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, if we're if we're talking about a $300 console, then we're buying memory that's literally, well, you know, again, grain of salt, almost the same amount as the console.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna just assume that, you know, because again, it's just price adjusted and shit. It's probably, let's just say $200 just to make it clean, right? That's literally 2/3 the cost of the S, which is crazy. You know,
what's crazy is that both of these, this and the PlayStation,
this is like beyond the Vita. You know,
not for the size of these games. No, they should have been coming with 2 terabytes at least. That should
but
be
they're
the
not.
base for both.
You know,
They're not.
To be fair, we don't know the size of games just yet.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Because of the SSD solutions that they're supposedly using, right? They don't need to repeat assets and things like that.
Is that what it is, Brian?
Well, I'm not too certain.
Right now, like the Call of Duty, for example, right now, that's over 150 gigs. And that's just the current version. Because that comes with Warzone.
We shouldn't use Call of Duty as an example. That thing's fucking ridiculous.
But that's going to be a launch, right? That's a launch. So a lot of people are going to go and get that.
But here's the thing. Agent Ranger says if you're going to spend $200 on cards, you may as well get the X. But here's the thing. You're still going to need an expansion card for the X. You know? Remember, the X doesn't have more memory, you know? Not really.
Isn't it doing a terabyte of memory?
Yeah, it's doing a terabyte.
It has twice the memory.
Yeah, it has twice. Okay, so memory of the S. Yes, that's right. Thank you for correcting me there.
But even then, the S should have 1 terabyte. Like, I don't know why they chose 512. It makes no sense. Like,
keep the cost down, bro. Keep the cost down. That's why.
I even said, like the start of last gen, it's like you can't have 500 gigs of console space. It's just not feasible. No. So they're still sticking to that. It's really dumb.
Yeah, well, looks like they are. You know,
it's whack.
There's a big big difference between forced to be fucked and choosing to be fucked. And I think that a lot of people see the $300 and be like, yeah, okay, and then they can't complain.
This was an issue also on phones. Remember when phones were still coming with like 6 gigs? I was like, yo, what the fuck can you do with 6 gigs? There's some apps that are like 4 gigs right out the box. You know, but they were still doing it.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And here's the thing, though. Sony is gonna have to do something similar because you can't. You need the new SSD and shit to run PlayStation 5 games, so they're gonna have to do something too. So prepare yourselves to get, like Brett said, get fucked. You know, either voluntarily or not voluntarily.
But the thing is that at least from what Mark Cerny suggested, they're a little bit more open to using a specific, to third party SSDs.
Yeah, they are, but the problem is those SSDs don't exist yet.
Yeah, but the Microsoft one, they said they were looking into what they could use, but they said obviously it won't be able to do the same things as the internal memory.
Yeah,
which means it's like, okay, you can stick anything inside of your whatever they say you can stick inside of it, just to be safe. But then you have obviously Microsoft's essentially, the Vita, the Vita cartridge, which just only works for them.
It'd be interesting, and these look like they're official too from Microsoft.
This
is Seagate. Seagate has putting these out.
It's Seagate, but
it's Seagate, but it's the official ones for Xbox.
It's Seagate, but it's specifically made for the Xbox.
I think it's the cradle that's for. I don't think it's so much of the drive. That was the same thing they did with the 360. Remember those 360 attachments? The hard drive was the same to drive. It was that cradle. So if you could crack that open and then just put in your own hard drive, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, they were overcharging for those hard drives.
Yeah. By the way, you can store Xbox, Series X games on a regular external, but you can't play it. That's the only thing, you can't play it.
That's exactly. I think that. I mean, no. I think Cerny said that you could. I think Cerny said that you could play them off of it, but you wouldn't be able to take advantage of all the super speeds.
No.
No. You can't do it at all. You can't do it at all, right? Right.
Sony. I call him Sony.
Yeah.
Sony said that you can attach an external standard hard drive to store the games, but they won't run.
Yeah, it won't run. Yeah, they won't run. That makes sense.
It's essentially the same thing.
PS4 games are run fine from it. But
you can play old games off of it, though.
Yep.
Yes. And then it's kind of a weird situation since both of them are taking really inconvenient approaches. Because Microsoft has like the whole, okay, only the ones that we make will work. On the Sony side, it's only ones that match up to the spec will work, and that's a
Yeah.
problem because they're
Or
effectively they're
bunch.
saying that only the high-end speed SSDs will work, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking at like expansions for these consoles is going to be a lot. I'm expecting that expansions is going to be at least half the price of the consoles
Yeah.
because I don't see how they can say okay it'll be cheap because again SSDs that are that fast they're not cheap. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
even
Brian, think
now,
about it.
like,
You said half the console. This one's literally 2/3 of a console. You know.
yeah, like even now, like if you'd get like
They'll throw
top,
that in the payment plan.
top end like top end like M.2 drive for like PCs, like 1 TB is like what I think it's like $100. That's like top line PC, just plug it in and play. So yeah, you're looking at least $100 for 1 TB, maybe more.
Man,
Well,
that
it's
shit
gonna
is
be
crazy.
it's a 4th gen. Those things are still not out. Consumer.
Hence,
Yeah.
I'm saying at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need different SSDs. Obviously, you can't just use old ones or HDDs. You can't use them. All right, so that's what's going on there. And all right, we got to talk about a rumor, people.
Uh-oh.
Okay, again, please, rumor right now. Okay, so we just sticking with next gen, right? We have Xbox Series S, right? We have Xbox Series X. This rumor suggested, this is an image too that accompanied it. According to this thing, we may have an Xbox Series V.
V has come to.
V. Now, going back a little bit. So earlier this year, there was a rumor going around about my Project Edinburgh. Microsoft was working on it, right? And some speculators like, oh, is that going to be the third SKU of Xbox? And if this image is to be believed, it looks like it. And from the image, it looks like it's going to be a X without a disk drive. Take that how you will. So potentially Xbox may have 3 SKUs out there, which is funny because that's more than they have exclusives for the Xbox Series X. You know, so take that how. Yeah, it flew over motherfuckers' heads. You know.
Shots fired, yo.
So yeah, what do you guys make of this? If you've seen the image, I don't know what to make of this shit. I don't know if it's real or not. I hope it's not because those two consoles are already confusing enough with the fucking S and X. You know.
To be honest,
hey,
V is
you know
a
what?
lot.
At least
V is a lot more.
Yeah.
V is a lot less confusing than X and S
because it doesn't sound like X and S. You know. And this is okay. Right now, this is Tony speculation. Right now, Tony speculation. Right. If this thing is real, $400, which matches. What I believe to be what the PlayStation Digital will be, you know, be very interesting if this thing's real. But that's 3 fucking consoles, man. That is insane, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's real. It's a lot of freaking work to even come up with 2 SKUs, the research and development.
Yeah.
And to come up with a third one and not even, they announced the other 2. What is this going to be announced next year? Or?
Yeah, right. My belief is this thing's fake, right? They would have announced it now. Microsoft didn't want the. Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Okay, so I disagree with that because of Microsoft's long game to get you to buy games digitally. I think right now they have a price point option and they have a power option. So they're hitting both, like high power and low price. You get your choice. But why? It's not that hard to make the same machine with no hard drive. When you're making changes to it, sure. But
disk drive.
Disk drive. If it is the exact same console without a disk drive, I could understand that. And they have every motivation to push it out because they want you to buy games from them and not resell them.
We'll have to see, but I don't know, man. 3 systems.
I'd rather have a little attachment screen for that Series S, because now that I think about that, shit, you can put that in a bag. Think about it, with a little screen that flaps on top, and you open it up. Shit, they should make that. Fuck that. Let's make a screen. Make it portable.
So you think it's real, Adam?
Yeah.
You think the V is real?
No.
You know, okay, Adam, yes or no, man? Come on, son.
Oh, I was talking about something else. Yeah, no, I don't think that's real.
Okay.
At least not now. Maybe it's an idea. I could see them thinking about that later on, but right now, I think this is enough.
We have to clarify that this has to be within the we obviously something can come out 2-3 years from, but like we're talking about this year and probably next year. I don't see it. I don't.
Me either. That's what I'm saying. Like, Carlos, are we gonna get pre-orders for this fucking thing on September 22nd too? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm of the belief if this thing existed, we would have gotten the announcement as well. Digital Foundry would have had this shit, like they had the S all this entire time.
Would have had it in March.
Oh yeah, right. Shit. Yeah, March. That's what the fuck did I say?
No, this year, early this year.
Yeah, early March. Like, yo,
it was March.
I'm calling BS on this, but who knows, right? Who the fuck knows?
I mean, if we're to believe that the leaks were actual leaks, then why wouldn't this have leaked?
Yeah, that's right.
And why would it leak on the day the days when they fully do full reveals?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, look, this conveniently just got leaked on the same day we're doing this other. We're actually doing the real announcement. Yeah,
I can see this being next year, not necessarily. It doesn't have to be 3 years out, but I don't think I think they'd space it away enough from the launch. Like, I can see their business strategy being to ideally have three consoles, 2 of which kind of drive people towards digital gaming, but they don't want to have a super confusing launch, even though they already are. So they're going to launch with the top and the bottom end, and then come out with a kind of middle of the road SKU to compete directly with Sony in about a year or so. That'll help keep them fresh in the news cycle. Instead of a slim, they'll make a drive-free version.
Yeah, so we'll have to see about this.
I think it would go based off of the sales of this Series S.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that. Yeah, like if the S or the X does well, we may see this non-disc drive version.
Yeah, because the rumors are that it's an Xbox Series X, but just a little bit downgrade, not as much as an S.
Agent Red Search says, "I'm convinced by the end of the generation they're going to kill discs." Maybe
they're trying.
Yeah,
they're trying.
That's exactly what Microsoft is trying to do.
Yep, I can see that.
That's one less cost, one less factory to go to.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
I think it's fake.
Yeah, you think it's fake too, right?
I agree.
All right, so
I think it's just totally fake because it has that weird, like, hey, here's it's the one thing that always confuses me. Like, so you took a screenshot of your computer screen and put it on the internet. Like, you do know that computers have a button called print screen that does exactly that, motherfucker.
He's right.
Or there's literally a button that says print screen, so why take a photo of it with your phone? It's like, makes no sense.
You also, the other thing is, like, the other
unless it came from a conference or something.
But then it's all that weird, like half angle, like rotated slightly by like 5 degrees, so it's not fully in line. It's like, I think they like. How many times have you seen that? Was like,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I'm just giving you an alternate way of doing it. But I agree with you. It's fake.
And also take into account that this is the Rona period. A lot of people are working from home. So whose computer screen is he peeking onto?
Yeah.
From whose office? So it doesn't. To me, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
So
something fake.
Yeah.
Don't trust anything Kimoshima's.
All right, we ran through all the Xbox things, so since we've still got a little bit of time here, let's talk about Sony. Brett, I know you. I know Brett wants to go off on Sony, and also accompany this with a news too. What?
No. Brett doesn't want to go after old.
Tuesday or was it they were supposed to announce the price? What happened to that?
Nothing. There was never supposed to be an announcement.
No, there was only the only thing that was going to happen, and I think that's probably
it was just motherfuckers speculating that they were going to do that after Xbox.
It was them speculating, and then the other thing was like, the thing that they had going on that specific day was the anniversary of the original PlayStation.
That's it.
25 years.
Yep.
There you go.
Shout out to the PlayStation. Damn it.
So no one's right about the dates. Remember we picked dates? We were all wrong then?
You were wrong. No, Adam and Tony were wrong. I was wrong.
I said October.
And I think there's a couple of people that are still in play.
Okay.
Who was the closest?
Well, they still haven't said.
Yeah,
these
motherfuckers ruined the bet. They ruined the bet. You know.
What?
Actually, one more week, and I think it'll be Chris and I. Me and somebody else will be. In the
I said at the end of September. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So was it Brian that said? Because I know Adam. Someone agreed with that.
Yeah, it was me. I was in the same boat as Adam.
Yeah,
Just
we
like
thought it was
wild
gonna be
horse.
everywhere.
That's what I said. By the way, I'm changing that next week. I think it's going to happen. Because since Microsoft's pre-orders are September 22nd, Sony has to get their shit out now so they could hit it around the same time. You know. So
You don't want your main competition to get pre-orders without everyone
exactly.
else.
Yeah. So originally, I did think Sony was going to announce it during the 22nd. No, they're going to do it next week before the 22nd, just because of what Microsoft's doing. And you know what? That's a perfect segue to the next story I want to do. Right. So reports are coming out right now, and this is also in line with what I thought. Actually, you know what? Let me go back a little bit. Right. When I first heard this news, I was talking to Danny Pena in Paris, and I was like, "Yo, this leak is the best thing that could have happened to gamers." And this is why, right? This is what I think was probably going to go down, because we heard reports earlier this year. Jim Ryan was saying, "Oh, the PlayStation is going to." He pretty much said it's going to be fucking expensive, right? He pretty much said this is not going to be a cheap product. It's going to be expensive, right? When I saw this leak, I was like, "This is the best thing that could have happened to us gamers, right?" Because now Sony's going to see that Microsoft's going to put out a $500 console. If they had any plans to put out a $600 console, they're saying, fuck that shit. We got to price match these motherfuckers, right? So if the PlayStation 5 comes out and it's $500, we're going to thank Microsoft for that shit. And this is why we tell you guys, this is why competition is a good thing. Microsoft kept those motherfuckers in check, you know? So that's sort of the report thing. The report saying that that's exactly what happened. Sony saw Microsoft's price. They're like, fuck, we can't be releasing a $600 console. Got a price match. So now the prices are supposedly going to be, which I've always been saying, by the way, $400 for a digital, $500 for the physical, you know? So that's a good thing, you know, for us, you know? Because Sony, that would have been, and it's a good thing for Sony too. $600 console, you're fucking crazy, you know? Not in this economy, you know?
What that 550 that France was?
No, that's not. By the way, I should say this, right? Look at the history of Sony, right? And Microsoft as well, right? They have never released a console that ends with a 4.9. It's always a 9.9. They don't do that shit. Nintendo's the one that does 4.9 consoles. Microsoft and Sony never do that. So that's why I'm always saying either $399 this, $399 thing. And I will also add this, because some people, by the way, because obviously this is Twitter, right? They're saying, oh, that's it. That means the digital version is going to sell for $300, right? PlayStation, no, Sony's not going to sell you a system for $300. They've never did that shit, you know? And here's the thing. The Xbox Series S, it makes sense that it costs $300. It's fucking gimped, right? The digital PlayStation 5 is not gimped at all. It's just missing a disk drive. It's the same thing. They'll take $100 hit off of that, no more, you know? So that's what the prices are going to be right now. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what these reports are saying. So what do you guys think about that?
That if they
Sony said, fuck this shit, we're lowering the price.
That's what I mean. Hopefully it does mean that they're going to do it, because if they were stupid enough to think that they could go and charge a $600 for a console, they got another thing coming. Sorry.
Yeah, we've seen how that played out before, you know? Yeah. And it'll be worse because Sony does not want to be the console that's more expensive than the other guy. They saw what happened to Microsoft this generation when that happened, you know?
Yeah. But I feel like it's like, why? Okay, and number one, I'm going to say this. If they did do that, why did they need to be reminded of that?
Yeah.
Is it because all the people that were there at the time that made that sort of decision is gone, and they all have bird memory?
That's right. You know,
I mean, I'm sure Jim Ryan was there since all that stuff happened, but he should know better than anybody else. If you're really going to go out there and you're going to try to sell this thing and go, it's premium. You got to remember, no. The premium idea is good for a plus version, because it's not the main option.
And not during a fucking pandemic, you know?
No.
So if they come out and there is 600 still,
what happened?
What do you think would happen?
Sony is gonna, man.
Gonna dominate.
You really think so with $600?
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I kind of see them becoming Xbox One. You know, this.
Do you see any truth into this whole thing that they're spending a lot of money trying to get third parties to launch time exclusives?
Oh, of course, titles? I totally believe that.
So if they're doing all that, if that's their argument and their justification for paying this much, because they're like, hey, look at all the games you're going to be playing on this. This is where the power is. This is where the exclusives are. I don't know, man. I can see
$600 though, bro.
I mean, if you want to talk numbers, officially, if the PlayStation, which was said has doesn't have exactly the same power as the Xbox, and then you're paying more for it.
That's the other thing. On paper, the PS5 is weaker than the X, right? So you're going to pay more. What does that remind you of? The weaker console costs more. What does that remind you of? And we don't even have to go back 17 years for that shit. That's literally this generation, you know?
But it was, I mean, the reason why it costs more is because of that stupid-ass Kinect.
Yeah.
But again,
and there's hold on. And that's the other thing, Carlos. There's no justification for the PS5 to cost more than the X when it's the same fucking shit inside, just weaker,
This
you know?
ass controller?
You really think the controller is going to jack up the price that much?
Yes, 100%. Yes, it is their new proprietary technology that they've been. It is literally people from Sony have said we have maxed out on graphics, so the difference in this generation is going to be about haptic feedback in the controller. That is not only their selling point; it's their only real selling point.
Brett, hold on. I got a question for Brett right now. Brett,
yes.
Well, let me finish. When they sell this controller separately, you think it's going to cost $100?
No, that'll probably seem too much. I can see 80 though.
80. Okay. That's what I wanted to ask. Okay.
So the same price as a dock for the Switch.
No, but
Switch's controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get away with that.
You know what? I could actually see them doing some bullshit like that. Oh, we have to charge you more because of our controllers. Never done. You never seen anything like this before. You know,
if you're looking for an analogy, like so the Kinect,
I don't think
a piece of unnecessary hardware that was a bit of a money pit. The PlayStation, in some people's minds, if you don't care about haptic feedback, is doing the exact same thing, taking a piece of technology that you don't really care about, dropping a hefty price tag on it, and forcing it on me with the system. That's where that extra money would go. So you're telling me that with all of this new all of this new R&D and all this thing, and this being the big spear they're not going on any big games or any big news or any gigantic things yet. They're going with, we've got a controller, and you don't think that they're going to charge you more money for that. They're just going to charge you the same amount of money they've been charging you for the same old controller all along. Like,
you make a persuasive argument, sir. That's a good point. You know.
But again, like I think for the regular people, you're going to say, okay, you're charging $600. You're charging $600 for a control for a console that is weaker than the competition, and it has a controller.
Pretty much
that has some bells and whistles. It ain't gonna work. It's not going to fill that picture.
It's not going to work, but the idea that they won't do them doing it is absurd. Like, dude, Microsoft literally did this last generation.
That's right. Yeah, they did.
They did it last generation.
But the Kinect was...
Or this generation, I should say.
It's more than a controller. It's more than whatever the hell the DualSense is. Even back then. Even when it was Project Natal.
No, and I agree. But, like, look, system launches with a gimmick charges more for it. Unheard of? No.
I see what you're saying, but again, it seems like this also, may be a moot point because Sony.
It is because this controller is not going to be okay. This controller is not going to be a big thing. Do you really think that multi-plat developers are going to take the extra time and the money to unnecessarily put this haptic feedback into?
That's not the conversation. Who cares about that?
No, that is the conversation.
We know that controller is stupid, and those things. The DualSense is a stupid concept. I don't really care about that. I just want to play my games like I always play my game.
But that's what I'm saying. It's just like the Kinect.
Doesn't the Xbox also have haptic feedback in their controller?
What's that? They have adaptive triggers.
Oh, okay.
It's the same concept, just under a different name. They all have different names. It's like the Switch's, is it 3D something? 3D Rumble,
3D
whatever. The ice cubes thing. It's the
all the same. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
HD Rumble. So essentially, it's the same. So Brett. So by that means that they're just going to be using the same bullshit that whatever they're using on the Xbox, on the PlayStation, and on whatever can work on the Switch. It's the same shit.
I fully expect them to come out with rehashed old technology and beat the band like they reinvented the wheel. I fully expect this, and I expect them to charge more for the controllers, and I expect the controllers to drive up the price of the box. So, if the original question was, where would that extra money be going? It's the same box. The answer is the controller, and it doesn't have to be whether or not it costs that much to make. It has everything to do with whether or not Sony thinks they can justify it.
No,
yeah, our box is a little less powerful, but look at this awesome controller that comes with it. That makes it better.
Sony, what Sony wanted to do is they wanted to see how much they can get away with. The reason why they've been waiting this fucking long is because they know that Xbox has a gimped console coming out along with the X, and they're like, I wonder how they didn't know how much this was going to cost. So they're waiting for Microsoft to show the cost of the lower spec console because they don't want that huge ass discrepancy.
Yeah.
Let's say they launch a $600 system and you got to compare a $300 to $600 system. That's crazy. Like that's when $600 isn't the crazy thing. It's the discrepancy against the competition that's the crazy part. And now that Microsoft announced their whole thing, it's like 300 and 500. Sony's going to be.
How much did the Xbox One X cost on its release?
500.
Okay, and what did the Switch cost on release?
So three. Was it 350? I thought it was 300.
That was three. I know.
It was three something.
Yeah.
If you wanted a game and all that stuff, but it was 300. I paid
300. It was 300. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Switch is selling like hotcakes, and the X is already discontinued. So.
No, exactly. I don't think this is necessarily because it's truth, but I don't think Microsoft really recognized. I don't think a lot of recognize the difference there. So is it entirely feasible for them to say, oh well, we're going to cover the the $300 cheap end side and get all those Switch owners on board, and then we're going to cover the top end side and be more powerful than Sony, so we'll have the strongest and the weakest system out of the gate. We catch everybody. We're doing a blue ocean type thing ourselves now. Fuck you. Let's do this. Like I can see that absolutely being the tone deaf reaction of a company like that.
Well, I think that's what Microsoft wants. That's why they're doing this whole thing. They're like, we're trying to get the low end, and we're trying to get the high end, trying to appease everyone. And with PlayStation, they were just waiting on the scenes. They were like, let's see how much they're going to release their console. I guarantee you, this isn't going to be $600. The PS5 is not going to be $600.
No, it's not. I know it's not. After this announcement by Microsoft, no fucking way is Sony putting out a $600 console. Yeah. That shit's dead. That is done.
No, but here's the thing. They kind of backed him into a corner.
They did. They did back him into a corner.
From what I hear, hold on.
Uh-oh. By the way, quick shout out to John Christ for the bits. But John, don't worry about getting Carlos beer. I still owe him beer, so I got him for you, brother.
Oh, that's true.
That
bet from like 2 years ago.
That bet has not expired. The bet is still going. We would have done it this year if it wasn't for the fucking Rona.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other story. Because Carlos and I were hanging out in New Orleans, but it was my birthday. Come on, he got to buy me beer.
It was his birthday.
Yeah. He bought me a lot of Coronas, man. Go ahead, Brett. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
So Microsoft backed Sony into a bit of a corner here because, from what I heard, the PS5 costs the full version with the hard drive costs $457.
Oh, $57. So I heard it's $450. But yeah, that's a ballpark. Yeah, to manufacture $450. Yeah.
So $450.
Yeah.
So I don't think Sony hasn't taken a loss on a system in a minute.
PS3.
PS3, yeah, but that was. I don't think the days where they're willing to take a hit for the hit on the console. I don't think they can throw that at shareholders anymore. So I see the console being. They're probably trying to figure out whether it's going to be $500 or $600, and then the lower one would be $400 or $500. And then Microsoft came out with a 3 and 5 mark. Here's the thing: I think they may sell it at 5, but again, on paper, the Xbox is stronger for 5.
Yeah, it is.
So even coming out with like, well, it's going to be $500. That's not a victory, man. Like the victory would have been if you could have made it just a little bit cheaper. And I don't think
that ain't happening.
Maybe they've been willing to go $450, which is I think what everybody's hoping. From what I've been hearing, what I've been reading online, everybody's hoping that the PS5 will come out at $450.
$450. Yeah, I'm sorry, Brett. That's completely unrealistic by Sony standards.
No, I know it is.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring it up is people will
the people that I've been seeing posting are basically saying if it comes out at $450, then it will be equivalent value to the $500 version for it, against the Xbox. Xbox is a little bit more powerful. If they have to meet them on an even number, it's not looking great. If they have to meet them, with a slightly lower number, then there's a good chance for them to kind of, keep the empire that they built. So, I realize there's always varying levels of fanboyism, but I've been reading this on Sony forums. I've been seeing people who are like, I'm a little concerned if they just meet Microsoft on price point. So, I think at this point Sony is trying to figure out the best way to deliver mediocre news. And trust me, I'm the first one that wants to be wrong. I want Sony to come out and be like, just fucking kick down the door and be like, bitches, you don't even know what's about to happen. I don't see that coming out though. And I mean, yeah, I don't see him taking a loss, and I don't see meeting Microsoft on an even price point as being a victory.
Well, it is a victory in the sense that you won't have to pay $600. That's why I said it's good for the fans, the consumers. You don't have to pay $600 for a console. So it's not a victory for Sony. Obviously, it's not a victory for Sony. It's a victory for the fans, because they won't have to pay a crazy amount of money for a console, But at the same time, with that said, Microsoft is still going to have the cheapest next-gen console available, no matter what. Because, again, Sony is not releasing their digital for $299. No fucking way. They're not going to do that,
Yeah, but it's funny because their digital is literally on par with the actual PlayStation.
Yes.
It's not a GIMP. It's not GIMP,
and that's the thing. The S you could sell it for $300 because it's a GIMP system, right? You could justify selling the digital one for more than the S because that one is more powerful than the S, which is kind of interesting. It's like both of their main systems. Sony is not as powerful as the Xbox, but Sony's digital one. Because, whatever. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think, Sony was backed into a corner, right? And the consumers win. So I'm going to do that. As soon as this shit happens, man. As soon as this shit happens, I'm going to be on Twitter. I'm going to piss off the ponies. I'm going to we should all thank Microsoft right now that this shit didn't cost $600,
Yeah. I mean, that's what competition does.
And then Microsoft posts the monkey again.
Yeah, they're gonna post like, oh shit,
At what, like 3 a.m. again?
Yeah, it was like 3. I'm like, damn, we putting the monkey out, That's crazy, man. All right, by the way, just quickly before we end, Ubisoft had the Forward shit. No Splinter Cell again,
Mm-hmm.
The teasers. They stuck him in.
They put him in that Rainbow Six shit.
Oh, come on, man! What the fuck?
He's a Rainbow Six character. He's like if you had a Fortnite character in there.
Yeah, so that's bullshit. They have a new man. We talk about this. They have a remaster of Prince of Persia. But it's good news and bad news. The good news is we get a remaster of Prince of Persia, the best game in the trilogy, stands the time, awesome. But
it doesn't look as good as it should. I mean, you look at all the remasters that have been put out, by Activision of all people. The Crash Bandicoot games and the new Tony Hawk game, Shadow of the Colossus. You look at those, the Resident Evil remakes, Final Fantasy remake, and then you have Sands of Time, which kind of looks like a PS3 game.
And you know what's crazy? Somebody was doing comparison shots, right? The old game looked better in terms of the art style. It had a very distinct art style.
Yeah.
This one, not so much. And here's the thing. This may not matter to a lot of people. The original game had this haze through it. It gave it this mystical, dream-like quality. That's not in there. It's just removed, Because the whole thing was supposed to feel like a Arabian fairy tale, And that's why I like that one the best, because they got stupid after that. Where you're within, they started throwing Godsmack in there for some fucking reason. Stand alone!
Yeah.
Because he was in the Scorpion. That was a song for the Scorpion game.
Yeah.
Put the sting inside me.
And what else did they show at Ubisoft? Because I wasn't watching.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
10 years.
Yes, finally, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World came out at the beginning of this generation. One of the greatest beat 'em up games of all time. They pulled the shit for whatever fucking probably
people can
license.
stop saying that shit. Oh, man, that digital game is gone. Remember, that was the fear.
But it was gone. But and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell everybody this right now.
Say,
if this game comes out physical, buy it physical because they may pull this shit again. You know?
Yeah, like here's the thing. I mean, it did. I still had it installed on my console.
I still have it in mine too.
I still have it on mine. But the thing is that you can't go and buy. New people can't go and buy that game.
Yeah. Man, so yeah, Scott Pilgrim, and I don't know if they showed again. I didn't watch Ubisoft Forward. I just saw some videos. But yeah, they're just gonna do it for us, man.
They have a bike game that's like a multiplayer going downhill. It was weird.
Yeah.
They're like, all those extreme sports. I'm like, I just saw a snowboard and dirt bikes. And
those are the extreme sports, don't you know?
I was like, well, you should have added all kinds of other things with that. I don't know. Whatever.
Also, just quickly, again, the rumors are persisting about 4K Nintendo Switch. You know, take that how you will. You know, we keep hearing this shit like every 2 months. You know, since the system came out, we're gonna get the Switch Pro,
No,
whatever.
Maybe, knowing Nintendo, it'll always be one generation below, so it won't be 4K. It'll be one that it can actually do 1080.
Yeah, apparently it's the Switch Pro. This is just a rumor right now. It's gonna have like a latest update of some NVIDIA shit, and you could approximate 4K. So it's not gonna be real 4K. You know?
Oh, okay. So it's using AI to kind of upscale stuff.
Something like that, you know. And the rumor came because apparently Nintendo's been telling their third-party developers like, "Yo, make games 4K." You know, I don't. That doesn't even sound like a Nintendo thing to do.
Yeah, it's like make games 4K.
Nintendo doesn't care about that shit.
It was more like make games 4K ready.
4K, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Nintendo, does that sound like a Nintendo thing to you? You know?
But yeah, absolutely it does.
Nintendo caring about graphical fidelity? That doesn't sound like Nintendo to me. You know?
Tony. Not console Nintendo, but handheld Nintendo. Sure as shit, yes.
Explain.
How many times did they upgrade the DS?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
They
maybe
upgraded to put a knob on it, so they're gonna put a knob on the
HD knob.
Yeah. Did they upgrade the resolution with the DSs? I never owned a DS. I don't know. Did they?
No. I mean, yes. They made it look nicer. They made the 3D better. They changed the hand form of it. Like they already came out with the one that the controls don't snap off of. And yeah, dude, as a Nintendo fan forever, like the Nintendo, the GBA, the GB Color, the original Game Boy, like there were multiple iterations of all of those.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? In that context, yeah, that makes sense. But they
will abuse the shit out of it and release like 9 fucking SKUs before they finally make a new one.
Yeah.
But again, they're saying it's only at least from the rumor, it's not even going to be real 4K.
Yeah,
it's just going to
be. It would be upscaled and better frame rate, and that's would be enough for some people. I don't think they did much more to improve the DSs.
Yeah.
They made the screens a little bit nicer, and I think they made them run just a little bit smoother.
I know the one of the DSs was a lockout one. Remember where it locked out there were certain games that only could work on it, and you couldn't run it.
Yeah, dude, that was so weird and super confusing and incredibly difficult because I worked at GameCo at the time. Fucking having a drawer full of those fucking tiny ass cartridges and then having to remember which ones could work with which. Like, it's a fucking DS. It's a DS. Like, why does this works with DS 2.0? Just make it a new fucking generation. God damn it. But yes, Nintendo has a frustrating history of dicking around with anything handheld, so I believe it. I'm not saying I'm convinced. I'm just saying, not impossible.
Yeah. But my thing is, like, we've been hearing this rumor for years now. That's why I'm like, it's like the boy who cried wolf, you know?
Dude, no, all the more reason for it to be true. How many times have you known Nintendo to make its fan community scream for years and then before finally doing something and acting like it was their idea?
Yeah, that's true, you know, because they did release another version of the Switch. I was like, okay, I guess that's because they always do release another iteration of shit. So I was like, okay, they did it with the Lite, you know, but who knows? It's possible because the Switch is still going to be around for many, many years, you know. That thing's still making bank. Maybe the HD version will help things out, you know, because here's the thing, because you can, who gave us money? Eurocar. Oh, shit, subscribe, excuse me?
What?
I lost my train of thought right now. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah. Okay, so you have some current gen games that run on Switch, right? Oh, shout out to y'all giving us money. Let me stop getting sidetracked here. So you have some current gen games that could run on Switch, right? I doubt next gen games are gonna run on that shit. No fucking way. You know?
They're gonna try to get it close, or at least this version. This is their next gen. This gen would be there.
Yeah, somebody's making it rain in the chat right now. Fuck.
Tony, let me
start dancing. Take the shirt off, Tony.
Yeah, somebody's making. Everybody subscribing tonight. Let's go.
Make it rain. Tony.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the Xbox Series S games won't be able to be ported to the Switch?
Hold on. You're trying to trick me.
He's saying.
Now, hold on, Brett. Are you saying that Xbox Series X is going to have different games than the Xbox Series X?
I am saying that a game from a third-party developer that is able to get on the Xbox Series S wouldn't take a whole lot more downgrading before you could.
Are you sure about that?
Some version of it. I said a whole lot of downgrading. Based on the way that Halo looked, yes, that's what I'm guessing.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, I figure it would take a lot of downgrading and get that shit running, you know?
Yeah, that would be something. Even if we could see.
To answer your question, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Like these consoles are gonna, they're gonna pump out so much shit. The Switch will melt trying to do these games, you know.
I mean, maybe some of the big AAA games, but for like,
indie shit, yeah.
90% of the indie shit.
Oh yeah, But the thing is, but again, you don't need 4K for some fucking indie game, you know.
No, but like Oddworld, why can't you get Oddworld onto the Switch?
Oh, you could get that. Yeah, you could. Isn't it already on there?
Yeah, Munch's Odyssey. It's on there.
No, I mean the new ones.
Yeah, maybe because it's a 2D game. It's not a big expansion. It's not fucking Skyrim or GTA. You know,
there'll still be some crossover. You're never gonna get fucking like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know.
No, you never know.
You get the side scroll. You get the side scroller version, like
you
know.
You get a modified version.
That's it.
It looks like a Telltale's version.
Remember this
Telltale version.
You know.
If you look at the current
hold on, Brett, go ahead, man.
Look at the current landscape, man. Look at the market share of Switch. Look at the potential market share of Xbox, if it were bigger than it is now. And tell me, like, people will be like, well, is there some way we can get some version onto the Switch? Because that's like.
Oh, I agree. Mm-hmm. They're gonna get some version on it, even if it's bad. Like, by the way, I didn't see who said in the chat, but they said the Outer Worlds runs like shit on Switch. I could believe that.
And they advertise that shit too. Remember, they're like, "Oh, it's coming."
But I'm like, listen, if you're a Switch guy, you probably don't even care about graphics to begin with. So I guess it makes sense,
Yeah, I mean that's like saying if you're a console guy, you don't really care about graphics.
Yeah, that is true. But it's not.
I'm still mad that Ark is released for the PlayStation 4, but the PlayStation 4, even the Pro, cannot run it. Just flat out, it is unplayable because there's just not enough power for the system. Not enough power in the system. And actually, I'll be really curious to see whether a PS5 could handle it.
I was about to say. Here's the thing about Ark, right? I was thinking about, and those type of games in general, right? Does it really matter? Because it still has to connect to a server. If that server's shitty, it doesn't matter how fast your SSD is,
That is true.
Yes and no. Here's the problem. Things like render distance. Things like frame rate. If your frame rate is, you can get lag from the server side, but if your frame rate is choppy, things are going to still be jumping around you. You're still going to have a render distance, like 30 feet out kind of thing. Like I've played those kinds of games on, minimalist rigs and beefed up rigs. Like, man, I could not play Ark on a fucking laptop. I was like, I can't see anything. Everything just looks foggy. It looks like old school Warcraft, and it still runs like shit.
Yeah. No, Piggy Dan, don't make him stop. He's making it rain right now, brother. How do you Piggy Dan, that game I'm buying for you? How do you think is paying for that, man? It's you guys. That's your money.
So shout out to Agent Redshirt who gifted a lot of subs.
Nice, thank you, man.
Thanks a lot,
very
man.
good, man. Very
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate that, you know. So the spam,
Oh, we
keep
stopped talking bad
spamming,
about
keep spamming. Hey, we'll take that fucking money because we give that money back to you guys, you know. So yeah, so that's I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. Anyway, I think we're
talking about whether Switch Pro would be able to run any sort of next gen games.
Oh yeah, it'll be GIMP bullshit just like we have now, you know. Oh yeah, Arc. That's what we're talking about. Because the thing is, like, we were talking about, and this leads to something we talked about before, right? Okay, you have these SSDs, right? They load games mad fast, right? But if you're still dependent on somebody else's server, it kind of defeats the purpose. It's still going to be long load times, you know? Like Destiny, you're still going to be in space forever, you know, trying to get into Earth orbit or whatever, you know? Like, you could have the bomb-ass SSD. It doesn't fucking matter if their server's all loading and choppy and shit, you know?
Yeah, but bro, I had Google Fiber during most of this experience.
Yeah, but the thing is, you could have the illest shit, but if their things are fucking up, it doesn't matter either, you know?
No. This isn't B2B. This is into a server. You're thinking about like back in the day when you hosted a game and still sometimes do.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about you're using their servers. What if something's going on their end? You know?
Oh, well, very few actual professional like. Well, number one, then everybody on the server would be having that problem.
Yeah.
Which is really the case. Number two, that would be one of the worst broken janky things to do. And they've done some broken janky things.
I was about to say, is that Arc broken and janky as fuck? You know?
I honestly, even in some of the worst games, haven't like because you don't make. It's not like you have your own server room as a game developer, man. You just rent server space from somebody. So like one of these big server farms. So it's really hard to get bad laggy server unless your ping is super high. And that's like being like, yeah, man, we have 2 servers rented. And they're all the way in the Philippines. So if you're in Canada, yeah, you're gonna get bad ping. It's just not how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, not so much of like bad connections or whatever. I'm talking about more like you're still gonna have to load the shit up regardless. So your SSD is not really gonna affect that because you still have to load it from their servers. Understand what I'm saying?
No, because the data is loaded on the disk. Like, it's on the hard drive.
Yeah.
It's not like you're streaming in the data from the server. Like, again, I understand what you're saying, but again, there's the data side of things, which is like your assets and all sorts. That's on your disk for the most part.
Yeah, that's on your end. Yeah.
You still do, again, you're half right and half wrong. Again, the data side on the disk, that would be SSD taken care of, but also it's loading into the instant and getting aware of the who's there and who's not there. That will take the main front of things. So yeah, if the server's bad, then talking to the server and saying, "Hey, who's in the world with me?" Then the server will be like, "There's maybe this guy." Like, no, he just jumped away, so it's not that guy. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, Tony has a valid point that I didn't think of. But most of these days, people use Amazon Web Services for the servers. So
yeah.
As long as Amazon has their shit together, then things should be fine.
By the way, this isn't something I completely came up with. This is a conversation Adam and I had right on air. You know, we were like, hey, you have these bomb-ass SSDs, but if you're playing the Division, you still have to fucking load forever, you know?
Exactly. If they're still having server issues or just heavy traffic flow, then you're still going to have to wait in that queue.
You know, people don't talk about that.
Craps out on its servers.
Yeah.
It is honestly, I have never seen as bad as server issues as I have with console games like that. And I have to believe it's either because Ubisoft has its own filter or servers, or they're trying to piggyback off of Microsoft or Sony's or whatever. That is bad. That is bad. But most of the time, if you're on PC, you actually get a list of servers, and you select one with the ping because there'll be one at least every couple of states. Usually at least one per state where you can get decent ping. That's the one you
remember. Well, Battlefield had that on the consoles, and they were charging. You would pay if you wanted good servers. You can get your own private server.
Yeah, the problem with that is the reason that they're doing that is because they really have no reason to want. Okay, so they can put everybody in a server that's less than 50 milliseconds of ping, right? But that means that every time somebody drops into the game, they need to feed them into a smaller pool of people who also have low ping. This means it takes longer for
Low
matches
ping.
to actually happen.
I knew a guy named Long
Yeah,
Ping.
Low Ping, son.
Yo, Long Ping.
That's my boy.
You know what ping is, right, Tony?
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm being a fuck because you said low ping. You set yourself up for that. I know what a ping is. Go ahead. Oh, by the way, yeah.
But yeah, like why would Fortnite wait for everybody to have like below 50 when they could just throw everybody below 100 into the game and fill it up twice as fast?
Yeah. But you're right. It is because I am speaking from the console side. You see that shit all the fucking time, So that's why I'm wondering, like, you have this bomb ass SSD, it doesn't fucking matter. It's gonna be bottlenecked by their shitty ass servers,
Yeah, it's because it's because the people who made the game set up the servers for the game, and in games like The Division, which are a sloppy dumpster fire on release, then the servers are also a sloppy dumpster fire.
Yeah, there you go, man. All right, that's gonna pretty much do it for us. But before we go, does anybody need to pimp anything?
Well, I'm probably just going to be like, hey, we'll go pick up Excellence. It's out right now. We just launched today, which is actually yesterday, which was It's a Bird, which is a free comic, which features me, Aletha, and Mark Morales, and where we do a story about current events and all. It's a free story, and once I'm not exactly sure what the plan is, but you can go get it right now on Comixology. Also, obviously, pick up Excellence. Also, a bit of a sad announcement. I'm not going to be doing an episode of Throwdown Show tomorrow because I have a lot of things piled up on top of each other. So, stay tuned for an announcement on when I will be back again for that next time.
Awesome. All right, Adam, anything got it going on at the Coalition, man?
We just got a lot of content. We're covering all these shows, The Boys and all that stuff, and I'm playing games. But this is the first time in weeks, no wrestling pay-per-view. So that's kind of a break from that because those things are grueling, 2-3 hours long.
Are you going to do an NFL podcast?
The what?
An NFL podcast?
NFL? No, thank you. No, thank you. Wow. Maybe next time. You still want to do that?
Carlos.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. He's like, I don't know. So yeah, but no. Besides that, just go check it out, or go listen to other episodes of Friday Night WrestleCast, and that's it.
All right, man. As for myself, watch out for my preview of Second Extinction. That's the dinosaur hunting game that you guys saw at the Xbox preview way back in June. I got to play it, and you'll hear my thoughts. That'll be over at PC Mag, and obviously go to my Twitter. I'll post all that stuff. By the way, I'm about to hit 5,000 followers on Twitter. It's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like this month alone, it's just coming in. Motherfuckers may talk shit about me, but they keep coming, man. Your boy.
I recently hit the 7,000 followers.
Nice.
Actually, a few days ago.
It's too bad that shit don't translate to money, though.
Man, if I was getting $1 from every single person on that list, man, I would be set.
Yeah, right. He's like, give me that fucking money, son.
But you want to say this, like when it comes to Twitter, it's usually about less than half than people that actually interact. Most of it is just like, okay, you
always see the same dudes interacting with you,
Yeah.
That's what it is with a lot of things. Like on a lot of channels, if you look at people who make comments, always the same group.
Well, look, and when you use Throwdown as an example, right? We usually get the regular guys that are commenting, right? Most of our fans, they're just chilling in the cut, listening. Yep. That's it,
Yeah.
And that's how it is for everything. That's not a chastisement. That's how it is for everything,
It's like being in class, it's like, when you're asking for class participation, there's like, everybody's like, and then you have that one guy in the front like,
yeah, right. Hey, I want to
shaking their hand. Pick me.
Hey, put your fucking hand down, man. You talked already, No, but that's always how it is. But fun stuff. I'm guessing because of the whole verification thing, I just get all these people coming at me. But your boy can handle it, man. All that hate, By the way, I'm back to being a pony again because I was an Xbot last week.
Oh, okay.
They were like, "Look at this fucking Xbot. He's just bad. Halo sucks." They said that about me.
It's funny because it's like it's totally people that are totally disconnected from the actual you in a regular basis.
Yeah.
They just see that one thing and they're like, you're an Xbox.
Yeah.
You're a Sony pony.
My favorite one this week was.
No, he totally is an Xbot though.
Yeah, I am an Xbot. My favorite one this week was some guy saying like, "Oh yeah, man, you're one of the most negative people on Twitter." I'm like, I'm a cheerful motherfucker. What are you talking about? You know, just because I don't say cheerful things about your console, baby. You know, but I found that very, very funny. You know. Agent Red Shirt says he's own meme. Yeah, because you're named incorrectly, sir. Red shirts are Star Trek, man.
Yep.
You know. Oh man, who said I'm a pony? Get the fuck out of here, man! What you talking about? what you talking about with my fucking Aloy shirt and shit? You know? Oh man, I love it. I love it, man. I'm such a fucking depressing evil person, right? Look at my smile on my motherfucking face, man. You're talking all that shit. I'm laughing. You know?
That's like super villain. That's like yes.
You know?
Look at them.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Question.
Look at those peeps.
When do we actually flip sides on that, man? Like,
what happened?
I'm okay. So bad brand, like blind brand loyalty, kind of a bad thing. But like, man, like we used to celebrate which side we were on in like a good way. Like, yo, man, I represent Marvel. DC's cool. Marvel all the way. That's how I grew up. Then people be like, yo, man, I'm DC, and cool, everything's cool. Like, it used to be a fun thing to like pledge your allegiance to one side. Like, I was for the Horde. Doesn't mean I like yelled at people for being an alliance. I talked bad shit on them as a gamer, but like, fuck it, whatever. Like, no actual hate. Like, when did it become like shameful to carry your banner, man? To wear that hat?
Because whenever you threw your banner, 1,000 or 1,000,000 other people got to see it, and they got to show their opinion about it.
So
there's a lot of crazy people in this world. Back in the day, you stumbled upon those crazy people, but you also stumbled upon one guy at a time, 3 guys at a time. When Tony tweets, there's thousands of people looking at his shit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I remember this will be the last thing that we'll end up. Somebody was saying, they're like, "Oh, you need to if you're a professional, you need to keep your DMs open for opportunities." I'm like, I get too many death threats. I'm not keeping my fucking DMs open. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. That's when I stopped leaving my shit open. I'm like, you know what? These death threats are kind of not fun. I think I'm gonna stop this shit. You know, motherfuckers are crazy out there, bro.
Well, number one.
By the way, shout out to Jeremy Padilla for following. Appreciate that. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's like if you're gonna have any sort of opportunities, well, the thing is, it's like, a person can literally, to be honest, it's getting opportunities off of Twitter.
I've done it. I've got job opportunities off of Twitter. Yeah. You know, it happens. You know. It's crazy. All right, man, let's get the fuck out of here. So thank you for forgot the pimping. All right, follow us on Twitch and Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and join our Discord. Discord is always popping. Shout out to Mob Hits, man. They're always throwing shit in there, you know. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google, all that good shit, you know. We're even at places I don't even know about, you know. And you could follow throwdownshow.com for past episodes, man. And links, as always, down there. Even if you're on Twitch right now, literally just scroll down. All that shit is right there, man. It's beautiful, you know. All right, so once again, our show is Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time, and I'll see you at Throw Down Your Questions.
Dun, dun, dun. Carlos Romero.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Adam Vale.
Oh, yeah. If you guys want to pre-order the Arcade 1-Up Big Buck Hunter, that's the one with the light guns.
Yeah.
That's why I had it. Close to $600, though.
We stopped pimping shit like 3 years
ago. I'm just saying, because I know a lot of people that were fans of the light guns. And
yeah, man. Bring them back, man.
There you go. It's out there.
Play Call of Duty with that shit, you know. Right. All right. Brett Murdoch.
Been real people.
And Brian Manjoma.
It's been real people.
All right, hey, man. Shout out to the chat as always, man. We'll see you on Sunday. Later.
Later, guys.
I am eager. Adam, did you get that?
We got to do it separate. I hear laughing in the background.